All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome. If you are new, thank you so much for joining me today. Hope everybody is doing well. I think it's, Monday now? I'm losing track of the days. And boss is in position and ready. He's ready. He's ready to work. Oh, God. Oh, God. I already know the look. He's giving me the look. He's like, yeah, you know what time it is. Just gonna slide my arm right up. No. Yeah, unknown. No worries, bro. I got a GE dishwasher and it's been hooked up. It's working good. No new mic. No, so yeah, I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to. So to give you guys an update on the new mic, we may or may not have a situation. Okay. Basically, I got what I thought was a pretty good deal on the mic that I bought, the Shure SM7B. There is a 50% chance I got scammed. It's a real product that should be arriving, but after doing further research, after I already made the purchase, of course, I learned that apparently this is one of the most duplicated mics out there because it's so popular, and scammers and stuff have basically gone above and beyond to try to replicate this microphone and basically try to sell it as oh yeah, it's the real thing, but it's actually not. Yeah, I don't know. Boss is already. So I was doing research into it, and when it arrives, I'm going to basically inspect it and figure out if it's a dupe, if I got scammed. Basically, it's technically not. It is kind of a scam, I guess, but it's still a microphone and it works. I got it from Walmart, and yeah, I don't know. So that's already maybe kind of sketchy, but I went against my better instinct. I took a chance. So we'll see what happens. I'm fully expecting to find out that it's not the real deal and that it is a dupe. And if it is, that will suck. I will be annoyed, but I'll have to return it and, take it from there. So because the research I was doing into it, there are probably many people out there who bought Shure, what they thought were actual Shure microphones, because looking into it, they really make this thing look identical. I mean, down to the T. You have to actually kind of take off the back plate or whatever to figure out if it's not real. There are probably thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of people using that, thinking it's a real Shure microphone, and it's just not. So this is news to me. I wish I would have learned this before I made my purchase. Because, the microphone was on sale, and I'm like, oh, that's price is amazing. The price is amazing. I can't believe how cheap it is. And it's definitely turning into one of those things where it's if it's too good to be true, it's because it is. So I'll let you know. I mean, there is a chance it is legitimate and it's not a dupe, which I would be shocked. But, I was listening to the audio quality of the dupe mic, and it's good. It's a good microphone. You could definitely use it, but it's nowhere near the level of an actual Shure SM7B. For example, the microphone that I'm using right now sounds better than the dupe. So that's the update on the mic. I was not expecting this. I'm really holding out hope that when it arrives, either later today or tomorrow, that when I look into it, it's oh no, it's real, it's legit, it's good. That'd be amazing, because if not, it's gonna, I'm gonna have to go through the whole return process and find an actual place to, to buy a legitimate one. MBG, you wouldn't believe the amount and type of negative comments I got for my latest X post. These people have already been convinced that a mini PC is the same as a console. Oh no, I believe you, dude. I believe you. William, I'll be honest, man, I've just given up. I don't have it in me. At least not for the time being. Maybe I'll find out I got one more in me, but I just can't. There's no reasoning with these people. And I'm just done. I'm done trying to reason. I'm done trying to. It is what it is, man. You know, people want to believe what they want, and they want to see things the way they want to see them, and they want to forego facts. They want to ignore facts. They want to just, you know, it is whatever, man. You know, trust me, I get it. A lot of people were talking to me about Laura Fryer. I think that's her name. She's like a founder of Xbox, and you know, a major reason for the overall success of Xbox and the 360 era. And she put out like a 12-minute YouTube video where she essentially confirmed a lot of what we've been saying for a long time, and people are losing their minds. And I'm just like, whatever, dude. Like, I'm already seeing people going above and beyond to try to discredit this woman and make it seem like she's just some random nobody. Her opinion doesn't matter. What she's saying doesn't matter. And it's like, bro, we're not talking about a random X user. We're not talking about a YouTuber. We're not talking about a fanboy. We're not talking about a Redditor. We're not talking about a random YouTube comment. We're talking about one of the founding members of the Xbox division that is responsible in a large part for the success of the Xbox console and made it what it was. So, yeah, I'm going to say that whatever she has to say about the current state of Xbox is going to hold a little bit more weight than just random people on the internet. And this is what, you know, the whole armchair analyst bullshit comes in, where people think that they know better. They know better. And it's like, who are you again? You know better? Who are you? Boss, are you serious? He's like, please, God, please, I need the treats. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Like, dude, you're giving me a shoulder workout. Help. Help. Guys, we need membership stat. Okay. All right. Boss is like, relax. Calm down. It's too early. It's too early to be ranting. Even Jez Corden says she hasn't worked there in 10 years. I said to him, you don't think she doesn't still have friends there? As he has sources, people talk behind closed doors. Yeah, and she's went on record like criticizing Microsoft for not being like I don't know, like saying that it's boss, come on. Like they don't, I guess this was back in like the 2000s and whatnot, but like they don't treat women or give women the same opportunities or whatever. And, you know, people are using that as a way to like discredit her. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's completely separate from her analysis of Xbox in the year 2025. Especially when you consider that Sarah Bond is the president of Xbox. It's sad, man. Maybe we'll check out the video. I do want to talk about games today, though, man. I want to talk about more Death Stranding. We got our first sales data of Death Stranding, and people are... I got something to say about that. We're going to be talking about Ghost of Yotei. We're going to be talking about Resident Evil 9. No, I'm probably not going to be going to the PlayStation concert. It's pretty cool that they're doing that, but I don't think I'll be attending. We got Kane Z7 with the super chat, and he says, hey, MBG, do you watch X Vault Gaming? He put a quote from one of your live streams on his videos. Nothing negative, just you stating the obvious. I feel like I've seen like probably clips or something floating around. The name sounds familiar. I'm certain I've come across this individual before. Well, that's cool. Hey, somebody actually using a clip from one of my streams in a positive way? What? What? Oh my God, I didn't think this was possible. Well, I do appreciate that. MBG, when the studio shut down and layoffs get announced this week, I hope you really go in on them. We'll see. Digital Dude with a super chat says, MBG, they added a new background on PS5. Yeah, isn't it like a Monster Hunter background, Digital Dude? That's cool. I like what they're doing with the background. Stop it. I like what they're doing with the backgrounds. I'm sorry if my mic has been peaking. I've been tweaking the audio with the messing around with the audio software a little bit, so it's a little bit more sensitive. So many people forget that the Steam machine was the size of a console and it had a controller, but it cost an insane amount of money. And it was a mini PC that played Steam games. Yeah, I remember the Steam machines. You're very nervous whenever I talk about Death Stranding. It's only a matter of time till someone spoils something. Well, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. Anytime I talk about Death Stranding, I'm not going to be talking about the story. Any story beats or anything. Saying Puerto Rock mentions me sometimes. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with some of these people. I see some of their videos or clips or tweets floating around from time to time, and dude, if there's something, let me say this before we start talking about the games. If there's something that I'm waking up to, maybe I should have woken up to it a while ago. And who knows, maybe this is just one of those cyclical realizations where it's like you realize it, but, the cycle will just continue, right? The realization doesn't actually matter in the grand scheme of things. But, like, the people who are okay with the way things are going down right now with the Xbox brand and Microsoft, and the people who are really rallying behind it, it's become abundantly clear to me that, like, these people want to exist in a bubble. And that bubble essentially looks like Microsoft knows what they're doing, and we should support what they're doing. And there's a really good chance that what they're doing is going to be the future of gaming. And it's great. So we're going to keep just supporting it. And, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But what I notice with these people and why I say that they want to exist in a bubble is that when they encounter anything that challenges that, especially if it comes from the PlayStation side of things, if they encounter anything that challenges that, they get kind of crazy. If not crazy, they just get nasty and they get mean and they get aggressive. And it's like, okay, I get it. Like, you need to be in that bubble and you all got to be high-fiving one another at all times. And you got to just kind of, you got to exist in that echo chamber to a degree of, like, no, we can't acknowledge, like, we cannot acknowledge that Laura Fryer, a founder of the Xbox brand, has basically confirmed a lot of what people have been trying to tell us. We can't do that. So what do? She doesn't work anymore. Who cares what she has to say? She's just a nobody now. It's stuff like this that makes me realize, like, it is just totally pointless. It's pointless because they're never going to see things the way that a lot of other people see them. They're never going to see things for what they actually are. And they're going to continue. And listen, I can say this with confidence because I've been following it for like the last 10 years. For the last 10 years, the Xbox brand has collapsed in more than one way. And during that time, I have seen the same people coming out like clockwork, saying the same things. It's always better this way, right? This is the right way. And if you are maybe looking at what Sony's doing with PlayStation or what Nintendo's doing with their console and their business, you look at it and you say, well, I think they're kind of a stick in the mud. They're getting left behind. They're not really, they don't see the future. They just don't understand, right? They're kind of like just greedy corporations that don't really care. And it's like, you know what, man? If that's really what you think after witnessing everything that Microsoft has done in the last decade and still what they're doing now, where they've made improvements in some areas for sure, but if that's really what you think, then cool, man. Enjoy. Go enjoy what it is you like and go be in that bubble, I guess. Because from my perspective, it's become clear that these individuals have to band together now more than ever. and they have to kind of create that strength in numbers type thing, or that wall, or whatever you want to call it. And they do this because of things like what we're seeing this week. And I know I'm going on and on about it, but it's because, they're getting louder and more obnoxious about it. And they say things like, why do you care about a supposed dying console? Or you can't come this way. Or like a dying brand or whatever. And it's like, I get it. It would be easier for you if just nobody talked about it and nobody acknowledged it and nobody had any criticism towards it. But that's just not how things work. But you look at what's happening this week where you have, one of the founders of the brand coming out and validating so much of what people have been saying. Again, not just a random nobody. And then it's happening the same week where there's going to be apparently mass layoffs and potential even studio closures. And it's like, you know what, guys? You want to exist in your bubble. You want to keep telling yourself that this is the way. Go ahead. Go ahead. Because I'm done, man. Like, I'm done trying to convince anybody of anything because it shouldn't be this difficult. Not when it's laid out in front of you and it's more than obvious and everybody sees it. It is what it is, bro. But anyway, this is why you're debating on doing some game news. You don't want people to think you're console warring. You just want to give out your 2 cents. That would be all. Well, you should be a little bit, not nervous, but you should be debating that, because before I start talking about Death Stranding 2, I just want to end it with, we just witnessed somebody who worked for Microsoft and worked for the Xbox brand for like decades and literally made the Xbox console what it was. Like, you know how everybody talks about the Xbox 360 era and how great it was? This was a person that was directly involved with that. We just watched this person come out and, again, reaffirm and validate a lot of what, people have been saying. And I'm actually witnessing that group of people saying she's console warring. If not console warring, she's just mad because she's a disgruntled employee. And it's like, y'all are clowns. Just straight up. Like, I don't know how else to word it anymore. Like, you all are clowns. Like, if this is really where if this is where you've dropped to, where you can't even maybe take a moment to think, you know what? This isn't MBG saying it. This isn't some Twitter user saying it. It's somebody who actually has firsthand experience building this brand into what it was. Maybe it's worth hearing what she has to say. And you don't even have to agree with it. But to just spit on it and stomp on it and throw it away like it's nothing, that would be like Ken Kutaragi or Kaz Hirai or whatever coming out and saying something, like giving a really lengthy opinion of the state of PlayStation in 2025 and being like, they don't know what they're talking about. Like, what do you mean? This is the person that knows what they're talking about. When you reject the person who actually knows what they're talking about, what does that say about you? So they'll get what they deserve, man. They'll get what they deserve. All right. Did your message get deleted? I don't think so. No. I don't think so. Digital Dude. You know what's weird? Digital Dude, it says Digital Dude 27 now. Digital Dude 27 says Sony paid her to say that. Yeah, man. I posted on Twitter, I was like, she sounds like a PlayStation fanboy. And people got so upset. They got so upset. Like, dude, somebody was like, well, at least she's not console warring with a kid on Christmas morning. I'm like, bro, What? Are you implying that I was console warring with a child on Christmas morning? Uh-oh. Fishy Q is back. No, bro. No. What fresh hell is this? Yeah, I don't know. On top of that, Mike Ybarra said something, and someone who worked for her spoke out. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, listen, it's clear that anybody with a modicum of sense knows what's actually happening. It's not the death of Xbox. It's not something as dramatic as the brand is being, slowly killed and is going to be buried and it's going to disappear. It's not that. The brand is fine. It's just people are trying to, and we now have people who are involved in the business. They're just trying to point out that, like, listen, man, if you're going into the future of the Xbox brand thinking that there's going to be any sense of the traditional way of doing things, that's gone. And Microsoft is seemingly trying to slowly get out of hardware. And I know people are like, well, they just announced their new console and they announced they're working with AMD. And it's like, you are leaving out the fact that they announced it's going to be Windows based and they're adding more storefronts. What does that sound like to you? Sounds like a PC. And it's fine. Like, that's their prerogative. It's just that listen, I'm going to tell you what the real problem is. All right. And I promise I'll end it here and we'll move on. The real problem is that there was a quote unquote war. And I, just throwing that term out there because that's the term that people use. But there was a competition, a real, genuine, meaningful competition that lasted for 20-something years. And that competition was between Sony and Microsoft in the video game industry, between the PlayStation brand and the Xbox brand. And the outcome of that competition was there was a winner and there was a loser. Sony won, Microsoft lost. It's that simple. That's not fanboy stuff. That's just the way it is. If you don't believe me, ask Phil Spencer yourself. He confirmed it on a freaking podcast. Okay? And so what it did is it forced Microsoft to make a decision where we're either going to continue doing things the way we've done them or we're going to pivot and do something completely different. They've made the decision to pivot and do something completely different. And all this ultimately means is that whatever you have come to expect from the Xbox brand for the last 20-something years, it's not going to be that anymore. Doesn't mean it's automatically going to be something bad, but it's not going to be recognizable. And so I think where the real problem comes in is you have certain swaths and groups of people that they want to continue to kind of push in the direction of, no, but Microsoft will win and can win. And it's like, no, they can't. They literally stopped caring. The competition is over. They made sure of that. There is no competition anymore between PlayStation and Xbox. That ended with the Series X and the PS5. Actually, that ended when they got Activision Blizzard. And so, like, when people want to take the angle of, well, I'm winning as a consumer, it's like, good for you, man. Cool. That's fine. Who cares? Like, yeah, you're going to a place where you think you're getting a better deal or you're enjoying it more. That's what any consumer should do. But you get these people out here where they're trying so desperately to make it seem like they're not trying to, they're not low key or sometimes just straight up insinuating that, like, no, Microsoft's going to take over, man. It's like, really? What are they going to take over? They took over Bethesda, they took over Activision, and now they're taking over publishing. Okay. Is that what you were advocating for? Is that what you wanted to see? Is that what the 20+ year competition was leading to? It's over, and they're keeping it. They're attempting to keep it alive, and this is why and I know it's ironic because I'm spending the first 30 minutes of my stream talking about it once again, but it's like, this is why I'm just like, okay, you know what, guys? Hey, if you're happy with it and you're excited for it, do your thing, because I don't know. It becomes difficult to do that when I'm encountering people where they're like, the PS6 is pointless. Nobody wants a PlayStation 6. The Pro is garbage. The Pro is an overpriced scam. But yet those same people are like, but this mini PC that Microsoft's going to make is going to revolutionize gaming. Yet those people, it's like, bro, you're a fucking idiot. Not because you're excited for Xbox's future hardware, but because of the way you're talking about the industry as a whole. That's just like, that's the reality, is you're an idiot straight up if you think that Microsoft's going to come out with a console hybrid PC and it's like, and this is how they win. Like, there is no win. What don't you get? It's been over. The best win you can hope for is that there is going to be any hardware for you to purchase, which luckily there is, and you can settle in with it and enjoy it. The competition's over. The PS6 is going to do fucking probably gangbusters numbers-wise. The PS5 Pro is utter proof that, like, these people don't know what they're talking about. They think they know, and they think that they can speak on behalf of everybody. But then you see the results. You see the actual numbers, the numbers that do not lie. The numbers that cannot lie, the numbers that are irrefutable, and the numbers tell you that, holy shit, they have no idea what they're talking about. Turns out they never have. So, it's cool, man. Cerny 6. The Cerny Station 6. You think the PS6 sounds more intriguing than the Xbox PC? Well, I mean, I just get a little bit worked up about it because, again, man, like, I don't think there's anything actually wrong inherently with what Microsoft is doing. I think that they've made it clear what their strategy is. And the strategy is not that bad for PlayStation players. You know, the strategy is, okay, well, there may be less competition or maybe almost none at all when it's all said and done. But Microsoft's bringing their games over, and Microsoft is leaning more towards being a publisher. And what that ultimately means for PlayStation players is even more games to choose from. More games, you know, it's especially poignant when we're talking about games that originally were never supposed to make their way over. So that's not a bad thing for the PlayStation player. The only potential negative is that lack of competition. But I do think that negative extends a little bit further when it's like, if you're somebody who's really paying attention to this and engaged with it, like, you just start to see, like, what is up with all the strange animosity towards everything Sony's doing and the idea of the PlayStation 6. Like, why are people so angry? It's like, I don't know, man. PlayStation's the one that actually had a launch lineup for their console. PlayStation's the one that actually had a consistent output for their console throughout the entire generation. That's why it's laughable to me when people are like, PlayStation has no games. And it's like, oh, okay, like, what are you talking about? Like, did you play Returnal? Did you play God of War Ragnarok? Did you play Spider-Man? Did you play Ratchet and Clank? Did you play Demon Souls? Did you play GT7? Did you play any of these games? Even like the time stuff, like Silent Hill 2, Sifu, Stray. Like, did you play any of these? And I know that, yeah, even like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, which were again timed, it's like, what do you mean they have no games? No. What you mean to say is you're not playing games on PlayStation. That's what you're saying. You're not playing games on PlayStation, and that's fine. But say it like it is. I'm not playing games on PlayStation. And then say why. But don't just sit there and say, well, it's because they have no games and there hasn't been any output. It's like, you know, that's what's funny to me is I put out, people are responding to the PS6 where it's like, the PS6 is obviously going to be a monster console when it comes out. And it's like, yeah, a monster console with no games. I'm like, are you literally talking about Xbox? Because that's literally what Xbox was. Not PlayStation. That's never been what PlayStation was. Not once. The PlayStation 5 came out. It was a very powerful, capable console, and it had a sick-ass launch lineup. And then consistent games releasing from that point forward. In fact, the last 6 months prior to the release of Death Stranding 2 is the biggest drought we've had so far. This entire gen. It's like, well, they still got no games. It's like, no, you're literally describing Microsoft and Xbox this generation. That's what you're describing. Get it right. Don't project that shit onto what Sony's going to do with the next generation, because that's what you hope they do. Sony's not dumb enough to try to release a console with no launch lineup. Like, who would do that? This is just the shit that I see, bro. This is the shit that I see, and they don't stop. They keep going, they keep going, they keep going, and I get it. It's like, you got to just pivot, keep pivoting, keep manipulating, keep twisting, and any, contort, do the gymnastics that you got to do to make it seem like everything's perfectly fine. And it's like, I'm not saying you got to be all, your feathers have to be ruffled or anything over it, but it's just when you encounter somebody like Lara Fryer who's straight up telling you, like, yeah, this is an exit strategy for Microsoft and hardware. And it seems like they're losing their identity and everything that made Xbox what it was. When you see somebody like that say it, don't sit there and be like, well, she doesn't know anything. Who is she? This is a former disgruntled employee. Like, do you hear how you sound? You sound like a fucking moron. But that's probably because you are. But that's cool. Like I said, they're gonna keep just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. And so here's what I'll say. I will say that I'm going to cover the Microsoft layoffs that are about to occur. And I'm going to, we'll have to assess the situation. My hope is that no studios get shut down. But if they do, we're going to have to talk about that. From that point forward, though, we'll see what happens. I don't know that I can continue to deal with this distorted, fucked up area of gaming where people are, they were just two and a half years ago cheering on how much they wanted the Xbox console to succeed and how it's actually gonna, it might catch up to the PS5 and maybe Microsoft can make some games like Bethesda titles or Activision games exclusive and actually, win more people over to the console. I'm just done with that fucked up, distorted area of gaming where it's like that's what it was a year and a half, 2 years ago. But because Microsoft said, yeah, we're not fucking doing that. Are you out of your mind? We're not doing that. Are you crazy? We're putting our games on PlayStation. And I'm being met constantly with, let me tell you why PlayStation sucks and why it's just a bad place to play. It's like, you know what? I'm good, bro. I'm good. You keep following Microsoft. You keep following them wherever they want to take you. Keep that leash around your neck and keep telling yourself that they're doing the right thing. They're doing the better thing. Just ignore the fact that for the last 20 plus years, that's the opposite of what they wanted to do. Just ignore that. Pretend that didn't exist. Pretend that your past tweets, your past videos, your past everything, and just hide it under the, well, times change, things change, and continue to keep the flames, keep stoking the flames. That's cool. Go ahead. Because we see where it's gotten you. It's like, well, where'd it get us? Well, I got Game Pass. It's like, where it got you? $80 fucking games coming out of Microsoft Studios, bro. The same motherfuckers that wanted to cry about Sony announcing they're going to charge $70 for the PS5. And you got fucking Microsoft out here with the Outer Worlds 2, $80. It's like, well, I got Game Pass. Like, better hang on to it. Oh, you better hang on to it. Because if you think that Microsoft ain't coming for your wallet too, well, you're more foolish than I could have imagined. Just imagine if someone like Connie Booth said something like this about Sony. These clowns would have gone ballistic. And she still might. But you know what? If Connie Booth came out and said something like this, I would definitely be paying attention and be like, oh, shit. And Ray comes in dropping 5 membership gifts on you guys. Ray is kicking it off today. Thank you for that, buddy. I appreciate it, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ray. And you also said with the super chat, has DS2 surpassed Expedition 33 as game of the year for you now? No, not yet. And I don't know that it will. It could. Like, the more I play it and the deeper I get and the more that happens, the more I'm starting to get that kind of feeling of like, okay, like, it is 100% a game of the year contender. And I also said on Twitter, and people got really upset about this too, that this could be a game of the generation type game. And people get really upset when I say that because they think I'm saying this is game of the generation, the only game of the generation. I don't know how people view this. For me, a game of, like, when I talk about game of the generation, I'm not talking about one game. I'm talking about multiple games. I'm talking about, like, the maybe 5 to 10 games that, like, flood your mind when you think of what's the best game you played this generation. You're thinking of like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. That's what I mean. It's not just one game. I don't think there can be just one game of the generation. If there was going to be one game of the generation, that's probably going to go to GTA 6 when it's all said and done. Lux, you're saying low key, those people got to be loving how much we talk about Microsoft or Xbox, but it's the only way it stays relevant. Microsoft will have left gaming by 2035. I mean, I don't think they'll leave gaming. You know, I don't think they'll leave gaming. And listen, man, Lux, I agree with you. I do. Like, I know that it's all like, but why are you still talking about it? Why are you still talking about it? Why are you still focused on it? It's like, it's hard not to, bro, when I am just, I'm trying to just mind my own. All right, well, maybe I'm not minding my own business. I am looking around. But when I'm looking around, it's like the number one thing I see trending and everybody's talking about it is, oh my God, look at what she said about Xbox. I'm like, who is this? I saw people trying to mention it yesterday, and I didn't know what they were talking about. And I see it, and I watched it for myself, and I'm like, God damn. I mean, this is. I got to be honest. This is some vindication right now. Like, I have been clowned on over and over and over again for my opinions on this exact matter, and I get it. It's because, well, you're the PlayStation guy, man. Okay, nobody wants to hear it coming from you. You're just a pony. You're wrong. It's like, all right, whatever, bro. But then you get the same thing being said by, again, somebody who literally worked there and founded the console and built the 360 to help it become like the number one console for a certain period of time. You know? And that's just where it's like, I would love, and I'm going to eventually move on. It's just like, I don't know. They keep telling me that, like, this is... I just can't pretend that when I am minding my own business and just hyping up PlayStation and talking about PlayStation that I am met with some of this stuff. I am met with it. And it's like, bro, go away. And they don't. And that's why I end up continuing to talk about it. It's because, like, it doesn't go away. They keep it going and going and going. And it's like, all right, man, I guess take whatever victory laps you got to take. But just, God, like, read the fucking room. But, yeah, well, I'll be honest with you guys. We'll talk, you know, we've been talking a lot about Microsoft lately, and there's no doubt that more things are going to happen. But I think after I cover these layoffs and shit, dude, it's because I know what's going to happen. I know I'm not with the layoffs themselves. Like, we don't know how bad it's going to be and what exactly it's going to look like, but I know how the conversation's going to go. And I think that's just going to be, for a little while anyway, where I put my pin. I'm going to put a pin in it because, I see. I'm already seeing it where, like, people are trying to... I'm already seeing not the double standard, but the hypocrisy. And I talked about this yesterday. I'm not going to rant about it again. So I'm just going to, say my piece and give my thoughts and give my opinion. And I'm just going to, I'm going to put it away for a while. Because you know what? In my opinion, where Microsoft goes from this point forward is clear. It is clear. They're going to do a hybrid console. that's going to be a Windows PC essentially, but, configured for the living room. They're going to be a third-party publisher. They are a third-party publisher, but that's only going to continue. They're going to obviously continue to try to get people in the Game Pass, and they're going to try to make as much money as they can. And that's what it is. And that's all it's going to be probably until 2035 or beyond. MBG, they want you to stop talking about this. I mean, I know, dude, and that's the thing is like, it would be easy for me, truthfully. Like people, I come across people who are like, you only talk about Xbox because you need to keep your channel going. It's like, no, there have been quite a few times where Xbox was not really that prevalent in the conversation, and we did just fine. It's that Microsoft, they're the ones making the headlines on a weekly basis, dude. And I can't help that. I can't help that Microsoft has inserted themselves into the PlayStation conversation. For example, the whole stream I did yesterday, it's like, why are we talking about Xbox? Because, dude, all anybody's talking about right now is you can play PlayStation games through their app. Boss, come here, bro. I'm giving him just a little appetizer because he's driving me nuts. And that's the thing is it's like, well, you're supposed to be a PlayStation content creator. It's like, do you see why I'm talking about it? Like, Xbox brings fucking Gears of War to PlayStation. It's like, why talk about Xbox? Like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean, why am I talking about it? You should be asking, why is Gears of War coming to PlayStation? It's crazy. And we have PlayStation Pete. He says, going to Super Mario World Orlando, enjoying Mario Kart World, looking forward to MGS3 Delta, but my friend's kid has a PS5 digital edition Astrobot bundle. That was, dude, are they still selling that bundle? Because I remember when they announced that, I was kind of shocked that it was like $400, I think, for, it was the digital one. I think it was $400 for the physical version too, or the disc drive version. But the Astrobot bundle was, I would say a steal, but a good deal overall. Getting a free copy of Astrobot. Well, I hope you have a good time, PlayStation Pete. You have to let me know. You have to let me know how Super Mario World in Orlando is. We've definitely talked about Poison Ivy and drugs before. Oh my God. Yes, Michael, we certainly have. Oh, you're buying your friend. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, they're going to be really happy about that, bro. That's really nice of you. Good stuff. Good stuff. They're gaslighting you, MBG. It's a strongly relevant topic, so it's natural to talk about it. Everyone is talking about it. They just want to hear you. They detest you, but they can't admit it. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, dude, is they do love when I talk about it because it gives them something to react to or, to throw out there or to laugh at or to criticize or to whatever. And it's like, here's what I'll say. I get a lot of criticism where it's like, why do you keep talking about something you have a problem with and don't like? And it's like, I could ask you the exact same question in regards to me. All you got to do is unsub, unfollow, block. That's it. That's all you got to do. Come on, dude. And so it's like, the people who claim to be so much better than me or so much different, turns out, well, we definitely have something in common, don't we? Uh-oh. Common ground? Blasphemy. That's true. I would for sure. Well, I don't know. Lux, I've been finding that, bro, Kojima, check this shit out. This blew my mind yesterday. This is why I can't leave Twitter. Kojima retweeted something that I was like, there ain't no way he retweeted this, bro. It was what I had to say about Death Stranding, although I seemed like I was drunk when I typed it up because I had a couple typos. But, you know, I was encountering people after I said that Death Stranding 2 might end up being one of the games of the generation. There were people, I mean, really getting nasty about it, being like, this garbage walking simulator, you know, game of the generation. What are you, high or something like that? And so I put out a post and I said, there are some people trying so hard to desperately convince themselves that Death Stranding 2 is some kind of mediocre, boring game, to the point that people are actually lying about enjoying it as much as they are. I said it's such a shame. They really have no idea. And I was shocked to see that Kojima fucking retweeted that. I'm like, well, damn. All right. I guess Kojima must be seeing some of that nonsense too. So that felt like a massive W. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, oh shit. Not only has Kojima noticed me, but he retweeted one of my opinions. Yes. We're doing it. We're doing it. I believe in Death Stranding 2 supremacy. We have a perfect image with a direct donation. And he says, MBG, the Xbox console is gone. The name is what I understand. So Xbox, the name itself, it's going to change to Game Pass. I hope they understand that Xbox is gone. Well, I saw this interesting. Yeah, dude, Mr. B, Kojima's retweeted me like 5 or 6 times this past week. I couldn't believe it. Like the first time I was like, holy shit. And then it just became like normal. Like, so I guess we're friends now. I mean, it's flattering in a way, you know, it's like, wow, I look up to Kojima. He's awesome. And he's got like millions upon millions of followers on his Twitter, man. Kojima's pretty famous, bro. So like, you know, the fact that he's retweeting anything I put out is like, I don't even know what to say about that. Yeah, it's pretty cool, dude. That's pretty cool. Pretty surreal. But I was really happy to see that he retweeted that one post though, because I'm like, good. Like I'm glad. Like people need to see this shit. Like Death Stranding is not some kind of mediocre garbage game that some of the haters are trying to make it seem like it is. It never was. It never will be. You can disagree and say it's definitely not game of the generation, but you can't come out and be like, that's some walking simulator trash. Like, come on. By now it should be known that Death Stranding 2 is like, you know, maybe Death Stranding 1 did lean more towards the walking simulator in some sense. But Death Stranding 2, dude, I've done just as much shooting in this game and lobbing blood grenades and shit at BTs and diving out of the way. And I've been doing all this shit. And I'm like, man, I feel like I've experienced more action in the first 10 hours of Death Stranding than I did the first 50 or 2 than I did the first 50 in the first game. Yes, there are blood grenades, bro. And that's what you need to use to defeat the BTs. It's extremely effective. But man, let me tell you, you get caught by a BT and you're not prepared, and you're like, okay, I gotta get out my blood grenades, but the BT's coming for you quick, and you're stuck in the tar, and it's like very stressful. But perfect image, to get back to what you were saying, bro. I want to say that I saw another interaction with. How's that work out for you, Michael? How's that working out for you, Michael? I saw Mike Ybarra. He's another former Xbox executive. And, you know, he basically told somebody they were drinking the Kool-Aid, bro. And it was a pretty funny tweet, because somebody was like, you know, Xbox is more than just a console now. They're like an ecosystem and a store or a platform or whatever. And Mike Ybarra was just like, you're drinking the Kool-Aid, man. 99%. Like, if you ask anybody on the street what Xbox is, they're going to tell you it's a console. It's a box. It's a console. It's literally called an Xbox. It's like, that's what it's always been. That's the identity of Xbox. And I'm like, yeah, he's not wrong, dude. I guess you weren't aware that you're one of the bigger PlayStation channels out here. Recognition travels. Don't you know? Oh, well, I appreciate that, Shadowlink. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I gotta reel in how much I've been talking about Microsoft lately. I do. It's difficult not to, because the thing is, Sony is very direct with a lot of what they say, which is appreciative. Like they're not sugarcoating things. They do have some PR spins on occasion, though. They're not immune to that. Every company does. But it's like when we talk about their business segment meeting, I mean, they just laid that shit out. Bullet point by bullet point. Like, hey, you want to know what we're doing with PC? Exactly what we've been doing. Nothing's changing. It's like, can I have a follow-up question? No. And then it's like, all right, well, what about the PS6? We're working on it. We'll get back to you. It's like, oh, all right. Okay. Now go buy and play Death Stranding 2. It's like, all right. Okay, yeah, not too bad. But that's the thing. Sony, their strategy is, I think, much, I don't say less interesting. Well, it is less interesting, but what makes it less interesting is that it's tried and true. You know? It's tried and true in that, like, PlayStation, they're sticking with what we already know and what's been for a while. The reason why Xbox seems to be making so many of the headlines, not for all the right reasons, of course, but it's because they're doing something seemingly very different. But that's why I think William earlier he kept mentioning the Steam machines, because the Steam machines, yeah, they kind of represent a company. Even it wasn't Microsoft, it was Valve, but a company being like, we want to, we want to try to make like a PC console essentially. And it didn't work. And, Valve is not Microsoft. Microsoft has probably a much higher chance of succeeding at that if they put their full weight behind it. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be a challenge, like Microsoft's out here just constantly moving the goalposts, bro. Straight up, like every day, it's like they're moving it somewhere else. So I'm like, all right, what does this mean? Tarnish is saying, want me to confirm at MEG? Look at how fast they want to hear your thoughts when PlayStation encounters bad news. It's all simply low IQ, childish fanboy mindsets. Microsoft is only trying to disrupt things. Yeah. It does seem that way. It seems like Microsoft is waiting for Sony or Nintendo to bite. And I think it's more so Sony that they're waiting to bite. And like, I don't know. Like it was an eye opener for me the other day. It was a complete eye opener for me when we were going over the new reports for PlayStation Plus. And it was like, yeah, PlayStation Plus is the most subscribed gaming service in the world. And I don't know why, but that just like blew my mind, where I'm like, that's completely disconnected from everything I see and hear. Quite literally. Like that's totally not the perception. It is the reality, but that's not even like the perception, at least that I see, and I think a lot of people see, is like, you would think PlayStation Plus is straight trash, that nobody gives a shit about it, that something like Game Pass completely dumps all over it, and that's just crazy to me, where it's like, but yet it's still the most subscribed gaming service in the world. Something's not adding up. Something's not adding up. And what's not adding up is a lot of the talk, a lot of the opinions, a lot of the hearsay. Because for Sony, the numbers are adding up. And to be fair, like, I'm not saying PlayStation, in my opinion, PlayStation Plus isn't anything to necessarily write home about. It's fine. It doesn't really appeal to me that much. It's interesting to me that Sony treats their subscription service like not secondary, but it's not at the forefront necessarily. Like the console comes first. The games that they're developing and trying to sell at full price come first, and then the service comes in. And it's just so fascinating to me that like they're not even making this their number one thing. And it's still dominant somehow. All right. Well, there we go. That's the reality that I'm talking about. That's like, if Game Pass was so much better than PlayStation Plus, then why are there less people subscribed to Game Pass than PlayStation Plus? And I'm not saying that just because Sony has more numbers on PS Plus, that means PS Plus is better. I'm just saying that when this is what I mean when people come at me and they're like, what did you say about Game Pass? It's like, I'm saying I don't think Game Pass is as big of a deal as you guys think it is. That's what I'm saying. And I think that we're kind of seeing that on display. That's all. That's all I'm saying. So what does that lead to? That leads to me trying to let people know, hey, man, Microsoft's probably not going to be okay with that. Brand power and reputation. Yeah, those things cannot be underestimated, man. I do the voice. There's no numbers out MBG on Game Pass for what, 5 years? Well, what's interesting, Titus, is apparently it was recently potentially leaked that Game Pass is at 35 million subscribers. And apparently it leaked from an employee and their LinkedIn profile. And it was very quickly removed. And I'm like, dude, that's like, there's a part of me that doesn't believe that's real. Like, that cannot be real. There's just no way that in the last like 2 years, after everything Microsoft has done, it's moved up like 1 or 2 million. There's no way. Like, I don't know. This is why I realize like I'm listening to morons, bro. I'm giving very unintelligent people way too much time and energy, because the reason why I'm so surprised to hear that it's apparently at 35 million is because I was under the belief, based off of what was propagated and what I was told ad nauseum, that once they get Starfield and Bethesda, and once they get Call of Duty and Activision, and these games start dropping day one, it's over. Game Pass is taken over. They're going to skyrocket. And I'll be honest, like, yeah, I'm like, dude, Call of Duty? Like, yeah, that's going to do it, man. That's going to do it. And then it's just like nothing happens. And I'm like, so the people I was listening to had no fucking idea what they were talking about. Yet again. Do I think it's because the games are mid, though? Actually, no. I don't think it's that. I think that used to be the reason. Like, it made logical sense. That's like, well, Game Pass isn't taking over because Microsoft isn't releasing enough games frequently enough, like into the service, but they're also not the highest quality. They're not like those big bangers that you would hope to get. And I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I don't think like, Crackdown 3 and games like that, I don't think that's going to move the needle. So once they started buying like bigger heavy hitter titles, through publishers, and also getting things like Lies of P and Claire Obscure, like and having Call of Duty, right? Like, these are not low quality games. They're definitely high quality games being put into Game Pass. It's just that the message seems to be that, well, they're like, the majority of people seemingly want to go to other places like PlayStation or Steam and buy these games physically or digitally and own them. That's what the majority of people, and that's not me speculating, that's literally what we're seeing, is that's what people are preferring to do. Or just simply put, they're not, if they're not buying the games, they're just not interested in them to begin with. But I think the fact that Call of Duty drops day one in the Game Pass, that's something that probably did scare the shit out of Sony. Because like that, how could that not move the needle? Daily Game Pass discussion segment. I am literally going to listen. When we cover the Microsoft layoffs, I'm going to put Press A podcast, okay? I'm going to put the A button, the Microsoft A button. I just may as well do it for all my streams. What could Microsoft's next move be at that point? I mean, they literally tried everything. Oh, dude, the next move is clear. This is why I find it interesting that, it's like some people still don't see it. And I'm like, bro, it should be clear by now. The next move is you increase the price of Game Pass. That's the only next move. You don't buy more games and put them in the Game Pass because you already did that. You don't buy higher quality games and put them in the Game Pass because you already did that. The only other move, if the needle is not moving, if the subscriber count is not going up at a quick enough rate, the only other move is we need to squeeze more money from the subs we have. And that's yeah. I mean, that is very likely what's going to happen, man. Well, I mean, Piper, to be clear, there's a chance that Microsoft might just leave it alone, but the reason I find that hard to believe is because it's just, we're talking about bottom lines here. We're talking about, Microsoft is happy to give you a great deal. They're happy to give away Game Pass for, months at a time for $1, practically for free, to get you in the door, because it's all done in the name of this is what's going to push rapid growth. And when that growth is certainly not rapid, and it completely stagnates even after you put the brand new Call of Duty day one into it. I mean, to be honest, man, what do you tell the shareholders? What do you tell the investors? We're Game Pass grew by 1% or something. I mean, it's a bad look. And so Microsoft is a lean, mean revenue and profit machine, bro. And so is Sony, so is Nintendo, but Microsoft much more so because they operate at a high level. I mean, like the highest of levels, being worth multi-trillion dollars, or being a multi-trillion dollar company, value and worth-wise. And so the only other option at that point is there's only one thing we can do to produce better results for Game Pass, and that is extract more revenue from it. I could be wrong, but I'll tell you this. I keep saying that. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this, and I'll tell you that, and I'll say this, and I'll say that. I think there's a reason why when Microsoft announced the price increase for their consoles, and specifically their games, somebody said that Microsoft is being strategic about their game price increase to $80 to make Game Pass look more valuable. And that's what led a lot of people to look at Sony and be like, well, Sony, you're next. And as of right now, it hasn't happened. Luckily, hopefully it stays that way. Doubtful. And people thought it was a strategic move to funnel people to Game Pass to make their games look even more valuable. And look, Outer Worlds 2, that's day one Game Pass. $80, $20 a month. Luckily for Microsoft, Xbox is a small portion of their company. Xbox doesn't carry the weight that their Office apps or their OS software. And that's true, Michael, but that's kind of the problem in a sense, where the whole idea is Satya Nadella is absolutely, and the whole board of Microsoft for that, is expecting Xbox to rise up and do that level of revenue and profit. You know, this like Microsoft. Oh, we got some loud ass thunder outside. Uh-oh. Lightning? You know, Microsoft was not kidding when they said that we're getting serious with we're getting serious about gaming. In the sky, maybe, Michael. Yeah, I mean, sure. MBG, with all due respect, I don't think you know what you're talking about with concerning Microsoft. Well, I mean, I don't. I'm gonna. I mean, I will respectfully disagree only because I feel like Microsoft's agenda is not difficult to surmise. You know, just like Sony's and Nintendo's, like their agenda is to be a dominant force in whatever area that they're involved in. And it's the reason why I say I think it's worse for Microsoft is because they know what that's like. Microsoft dominates with Windows and they dominate with their Office subscriptions. They dominate with all this stuff, right? They can't invest $68 to $75 billion into gaming and have it lag behind. That investment is made so that it can bring it up. So that way, now we are dominating the same way when it comes to video game software. And to be frank, they're on their way to doing that from a publishing perspective. I just think that some people, you know, they are struggling to kind of see that, you know, the end goal here is to extract more profit from everything they're doing in gaming, and Game Pass is a part of that. Just like Sony comes out and makes it clear that, like, yeah, you know, PlayStation Plus is doing great. We still might raise the price in some regions. It just started raining and thunderstorm warning showed up before I said that. Well, let me see. Yeah, we've been having some pretty crazy thunderstorms rolling in. Let me see if we got like a warning here. No, just right now. Oh, wait, hold on. So we have a severe heat warning, a heat advisory, but no severe thunderstorm, which is good. The severe thunderstorms are annoying because shit gets knocked around and everything. You think Microsoft has finally reached their goal to get out of hardware and still make money with software? They'll probably prefer that. Well, I mean, I want to highlight something that I said. I think I responded to Colin Moriarty, and his tweet kind of blew up and got like hundreds of thousands of views, where he was saying, like, don't ask the incurious gamer how Microsoft is going to make revenue with the Xbox brand through Steam. And, you know, he got somewhat cooked for that. I think it's a fair question to ask, but, you know, it's like, well, why do you care about their bottom line? Why do you care about you know, how much money they're making and whatnot? But I think it's a worthwhile question to ask, because anybody who pays close enough attention to be posting on Twitter certainly knows that it's all about the money, right? Like, without the money, without the revenue, without the profit, there can be no product, you know? What are you doing? Hold on. All right, hold on. Hold on. Let me see it. All right, can you get me on? And it has all the Shure stuff to register your product online. Look. Okay. Look. All right, can you get me? I don't know if I was. You see if we have a screwdriver that's small enough for that? Yeah, but look. That is heavy. Give you this. Look, it has the Shure warranty. Yeah. I know. I know. I know. I've looked into it. They go above and beyond. I'll tell you what, bro. If this that's not fake. Don't be a fucking idiot. I'm not okay. Is it real though? It is real. Well, what do you need? What size? Do you know the orange one? Yeah. It's either in the console table. Hi, or... Ray. Yeah, if you could just see if you could bring me that, I'll check. Yeah. And can you flip that light on? Yes. Thanks. You're lucky. It started storming out right when it got delivered. I'll tell you what, man. I'll tell you what. If this is a dupe, If this isn't real, this is this is a heavy ass mic. This has got some weight to it, bro. Let me see. It's probably not real though. I don't know.
It had this? There's no way. There's literally no.
All right, I'm gonna find out if this thing is legit or not. Hopefully, the screwdriver works. Oh no, the screws are really small. The mic is filled with cement. All right, we'll do it live. It won't work.
What do you mean?
We don't have a screwdriver small enough. God damn it. Did the other thing come? Did the
Yeah.
Okay.
You said that thing, the gold thing.
I don't know. If this is not legit, this is really convincing.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna go try to register it, and I'll let you know.
All right.
Because if I can, then that's all the stuff's in here. The puppy thing, the plate, this thing. There's a bunch of shit in here.
One of the telltale signs apparently to figure out if it's fake is this wire should be a little bit more malleable and loose and not firm. And ooh, I don't know. I need that screwdriver.
It literally has a short warranty.
I know, but there's only one real way to. The only way I can truly know.
You know how it is? I'm gonna go.
Is
on
it
their
firm?
website.
It is firm.
I'm gonna go on their website and I'm gonna register the product, and if it works, that's how you know it's real.
Is it from Temu? It's not from Temu, no.
Walmart.
I mean, I don't know. It looks. I'll show you guys. It looks legitimate. But I was watching videos on how to determine if it's fake. And the easiest way to find out, see, like this right here is concerning. One of the things I learned about it is this part right here, this like washer or whatever. See how it can come out easily? That's not supposed to happen. That's considered like a one of the telltale signs that it's not real, or it's like it's a dupe. But god damn, dude, if this is what they're doing with the dupes, they're so convincing. I would have no idea. But the only true way to determine is there's like these really, really tiny screws on the back. I don't know if I have a screwdriver small enough. I have to open the back plate, and if it's gold inside, that's legit. That's legit. If it's silver, it's a dupe. And it does matter if it's not real, because I was watching videos of people testing the audio quality between the legitimate Shure SM7B and the dupes that are out there, and there is a very noticeable sound quality difference. And that's the whole reason why you buy a mic like that. You buy it for the quality, for the sound quality. Michael Lynch, I'm sorry, I almost missed your super chat, buddy. You're saying you are a previous Xbox gamer. Do you need any help with that screwdriver? Oh, damn. Did I get it secondhand? No, you're saying the gold plating can be faked. Well, at that point, here's another thing. Another thing they say to look for is the logo on the back. It came in a retail box. Yeah, it's just Mrs. MEG opened it up. It came in a retail box. They say the logo, well, if you look really closely at it, it'll look not as sharp. Like if you look really, really closely, it'll almost look like the quality, like it was kind of, I don't know how to explain it. Like almost like the resolution or something is not as high. It's a mic from Temu. I'm looking at it. It looks good. I mean, either way, I'm going to test it. I'm going to set it up and test it out. I got all the other equipment for it. The official logos are put on with a laser powder burn, really sharp. Well, I can tell you, Titus, that it looks really sharp. It looks good. The only thing that is giving me any sign that it might not be legit are these washer things. I forget what they're called, but that they're loose and like coming out. But yeah, it seems legit, bro. I did my research just after I already made the purchase. A Reddit post from an article from Jason Schreier says that the Xbox mass layoffs are happening Wednesday. Okay. Damn. Put my glasses on. I'm about to put my glasses on here. Gotta get that better visual. Let me see. Still looking pretty good. Yeah, it's looking legit. Made in Mexico. Well, I hope it's legitimate. I do. I hope it's real. Because, man, I don't want to have to go through the return policy and shit. I'm sure they would take it as a return, but can I set it up right now? I actually don't think I'll be able to set it up right now because there's a lot involved. I have the Scarlet audio. No, it's not an audio lifter. I forget what it is. It's a whole. It's such a completely different setup from what I'm using right now. Like the mic I'm using is pretty good, and you know I got a whole new boom arm and everything. And Michael Werneth comes in dropping 20 membership gifts on you guys. Michael Werneth, he's here to figure out if the mic is legit. He's like, I helped pay for that thing, bro. Michael, thank you so much, man. With that generous 20 bomb, that brings us up to 25 members. We crushed the first goal. We will feed the beast. And if we hit 50, we'll give Leia some catnip too. So, Michael, thank you so much, bro. Tarnished, you weren't able to get a membership. Damn. Hang in there. We have some really generous folks here that are they're always dropping member gifts. They're still being given out.
Hey guys, it's Boss here again, Meow. I can't wait for the next stream, Meow, so we can hang out and eat snacks together. It's gonna be a good time. Meow.
The layoffs are happening Wednesday. Yeah. Jeez. I can't imagine. Oh, I guess it's going to be Leia. Sorry, boss. You have to hang tight. Leia's like, bro. Uh-oh. Hold on. Something about to go down? Leia's like, my treats. Bro, what happened to Leia? I think this is Luna. This is Luna's doing. Leia, I think, was always kind of intimidated by Boss. She was always kind of intimidated. But ever since she saw Luna not taking Boss's shit, she's like, I'm not afraid of you either. Well, boss, just wait there patiently. You'll get yours. So they're discrediting the Xbox executive who got the opportunity as a woman who didn't get opportunity, while discrediting her for being a woman makes perfect sense. Damn. Again, Michael, thank you for the 20 member gifts, man. He's no longer the boss. He's been demoted to supervisor. MBG, with these layoffs happening at Microsoft, do you think some Xbox studios could close down? Or maybe it won't happen? Well, I mean, you have to figure that The report says that there's going to be like 2,000 layoffs, up to 2,000. And there were rumors and rumblings that they're hearing, like, some people in the industry are hearing that like entire studios may get shuttered. And that's nerve-wracking, I think. I mean, layoffs are bad by themselves, but when you talk about like studios shuttering, that's like the worst case scenario, because it could be a studio that you love. It could be a studio whose game you were anticipating. And it doesn't matter who it is, whether it's Microsoft, Sony, or any other publisher in the industry. It absolutely sucks to know that we may be on the verge of seeing the studio shut down. Like what if Ninja Theory gets shut down or something, Or like Undead Labs. I mean, I worry about that, because like these are studios that I actually do care about that live under Microsoft. I mean, I don't think it'll be a Bethesda studio, because they were the last round of layoffs. But I think people forget that Microsoft shuttered like 4 Bethesda studios. One of them being Tango Gameworks and Arcane, and the other one, Arcane Austin. Like, they did that last year, or I think it was either late 2023 or early 2024. So this isn't new. This is kind of par for the course, and it sucks to see, man. This is why I try to tell people, like, you always have to follow the money to a certain degree anyway, because there are budgets, man. Like, there are expectations. There's a certain amount of money that this gaming division, that the Xbox gaming division needs to pull in, and a certain amount of profit. And if they fail to do so, there's going to have to be major cuts. And that applies to Sony too. It's just a matter of the fact that Microsoft, they have an ungodly amount of studios and an ungodly headcount. So it's much more likely that if they don't hit their numbers, like it's going to be rough. It's going to be really bad, where they're going to shed a lot. So it sucks, dude. Holy shit. Did you guys hear that? That shook my entire fucking house. What the fuck? That legitimately shook my entire home. It's not storming that bad, but my God. Yeah, that was like the loudest. That was like the most booming thunder I've ever felt. It's like Death Stranding. You hate rain and thunder? I mean, I don't mind rain. I just don't like bad storms. They stress me out. It's a gatequake, bro. It's a gatequake. Some of the terminology used in Death Stranding is so funny. An angry whale watcher comes in and drops another member gift on you guys, bringing us up to 26 on the day. Thank you for that, Angry Whale Watcher. Saying, paying it forward, I was gifted yesterday. Love to see it, bro.
Appreciate it.
Love to see it. Somebody asked me if I was going to set up the new microphone live. Maybe we could do a members lounge and I could try. I just don't know how exciting it's going to be, because I'm probably not going to be on camera for a lot of it, because I have to set up every, like, I don't know. Maybe I could try. I have to admit, I'm curious. Like, I want to. Maybe I could try setting it up and then doing a members lounge or something, so it's already set up and we can see what it sounds like. I mean, I hope it's legitimate. I hope this isn't a dupe, because I've been looking forward to upping the audio quality. I'm going to laugh when it's like, bro, there's no difference. Shadowlink, are we close to each other, bro? It's like Shadowlink secretly my neighbor. We don't even know. I'm gonna have to retitle my my stream. I knew that was gonna happen. Just so you know, my original title for today's stream, I knew it was gonna happen. My original title was going to be Death Stranding 2 sales data, first sales data, and Xbox founder upsets or makes fanboys furious. And I was trying to be like, I don't want to talk about this shit no more, bro. Just talk about the games, but it's hard. This is what I mean. Like, this is what people want to talk about. Not everybody, not all the time, certainly, but that's like the most relevant thing. Outside of talking about Death Stranding, in spoiler territory, that's the most relevant thing, I'd say. But let's talk about those Death Stranding 2 sales numbers. So I have a boss, where'd you go? I guess boss decided he's good on the treats. I have a report here from Push Square. It says Death Stranding 2 on the Beach sold 66% fewer physical copies than its predecessor in the UK at launch. Earlier this year, we reported that in 2024, boxed game sales accounted for just 4% of all video game spending in the UK. Think about that for a second. 4% of all video game spending in the UK are physical games. That's fucking sad. Honestly, that's crazy. But it continues by saying it's actually difficult to find new physical games at retail unless you shop online these days. One interesting tidbit is that Death Stranding 2's physical sales were also 33% lower than last year's Astrobot, although journalist Christopher Dring reports that the game was abnormally physical heavy release. So this is something that people are kind of jumping on to say, well, I guess, Death Stranding failed. And I would actually argue that this data, I mean, it is what it is, but I don't think we should come to any conclusions based on this data. And here's why. He mentions it was 33% lower than Astrobot. Astrobot is one of the only games in recent memory that had a physical ratio of more than 50%, which is definitely not normal. So a lot of people were buying Astrobot physically compared to digital, to a degree where it stood out. They're also leaving out the fact, and this is the most important thing that Novinzer is pointing out, there's 2 days early access for the digital deluxe. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the overwhelming majority of people, that's what they actually purchased. But with that being said, Death Stranding 2 was still number 1 on the chart, beating out Mario Kart World and other titles. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think this actually tells us anything about how Death Stranding is doing sales wise. I wish it did, because I would love to know how this game is selling. But yeah, man. What I find funny, and I want to mention this for a moment, is the same people that want to tell me physical video games are dying. Nobody's buying physical video games. Digital's the future. As soon as you see Death Stranding 2 not selling well physically in one region, suddenly the metric of physical game sales is the be-all, end-all. Suddenly it matters. Suddenly digital isn't taking over. Physical isn't dying. Funny how that works. Hold on, I have to... I gotta let layout. Hold on one sec, guys. But yeah, when it comes to talking about Death Stranding 2 and how it's doing, no, she hasn't been banished. She wanted to leave. She got her treats. She's like, I'm good. But yeah, I understand that there are people who want to see a game like Death Stranding 2 not do well, and they want to see it fail, and they want to believe that, you know, that there's no way a game like this would do well. But when you take into account two major factors, 4% of all sales for video games in the UK are physical, and this game offered a 2-day early access digital deluxe version. I mean, you could even maybe look at this as like, maybe it's doing better than we think, if you really want to dissect it. I have 10 hours in Death Stranding 2 so far. And dude, this game is amazing, man. I mean that. Like, this is one of those games where I'm trying to be careful, because if I'm not, I'm going to end up playing it for like 10 to 12 hours straight or something and feel very ill. It's addicting. This game, I know that there are the naysayers, but this game is incredible. And I'm only 10 hours in, but I have that. All right, Josh, I'll read that in just a second. Thank you for letting me know. I feel like I literally haven't encountered any of the like bigger major plot points yet, which is crazy to me, because I'm like, bro, I'm only like, I'm 10 hours in. How long am I going to be playing this game, bro? The music's amazing. Everything's amazing about it. And Josh says, big industry pundits championed the Activision deal for the whole 2 years, making videos. Now they want to pull the console war card. Cough, Destin, cough. This is why I'm saying I don't even want to pay attention anymore, dude. Listen, man. If you're siding with Microsoft, you're probably going to get screwed. I say this as somebody who sided with them before and then got screwed. You're 5 hours in, still in Mexico. Damn, bro. You're taking a good old time. Enjoy it. But that's the thing. Like, I tried to tell people to be very careful about what you're choosing to believe coming out of the mouths of these corporations. Got to be very careful. One of the more popular things I'm seeing is people want exclusives to go away. And, it's ironic because we're talking about Death Stranding 2, and it's like, dude, I'll repeat what I said yesterday. I think this is the best of both worlds. Do exclusivity timed, whether it be for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, however long it feels appropriate to do so. And then, once the game does what it needs to do for that console, that platform, and that player base, put it in other places. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's actually a really wise and strategic way to go about it. I just don't understand why there are so many people who want to see exclusivity completely die. I just wonder about this, because it's like, well, is it really that bad? Is it really that bad, to feel like there's a separate platform with a separate hardware ecosystem, with just a separate ecosystem in general that has its own appeal? You're saying Death Stranding 2 is way too much like DS1? You think it's a Oh, hold on. It cut me off as I was reading that. It's like, you're not reading it, bro. Hold on. You're saying that's some crazy, crazy thunder going on out there, bro. Holy shit. It's like shockingly loud. It's like shockingly loud, bro. Oh my God. Death Stranding 2 is just an updated DS1. It uses the exact same plot devices, same mechanics. Kojima's never made 2 game sequels that felt the same, and this is just a big update for DS1, a glorified DLC. I definitely disagree. I definitely disagree with that one. Is that coming through really loudly on the mic? That's funny. Musashi definitely hasn't played the game. Like, don't get me wrong. It has some of the same mechanics, yes. But the plot devices, I mean, look, man, this isn't anything that they hid. Like, yeah, you're going to be connecting the chiral network in different regions now. That's not hidden. You know, you're going to still be delivering packages. It's everything else surrounding it. A whole new story, a whole new cast of characters. Some returning characters, of course, but definitely some fresh, if not fresh mechanics, refined mechanics that honestly are so well refined and so well done that it makes it feel new. Like, yeah, I could shoot a weapon. I could shoot a firearm in DS1, but it's just the changes that they're making in terms of you can actually improve your aim, you can improve your combat rating, and you could become, you could actually, it feels like almost like a little, you know, there's like slight RPG mechanics going on in this game. You feel that improvement over time like that. I feel like that just didn't, stuff like that did not exist in the first game, and it makes all the difference. Yeah, I mean, they kept the stuff that didn't need to be discarded, and they improved upon it significantly. At least that's my feel on it. I mean, it's also, yeah, it's what Jake Skew is saying here, too. Like, that's all sequels, dude. You know, all sequels are going to... The tough balancing act with a sequel is knowing how much you need to carry over, what to bring with you, versus what needs to be brand new and completely different. That's a tough balance. When you're making something brand new, everything's new. There's no concept of what should be there. But when you're making a sequel, there's definitely an expectation that some things have to be there. Like, you know, when we see the state of play for Ghost of Yotei, you're going to see a lot of stuff that is carrying over from Ghost of Tsushima, but you're probably going to see a lot of new stuff too. Shadow Link's mind is being blown right now, bro. Yeah, Ghost of Yotei is just DLC as well. Damn that Ghost of Yotei DLC. Where's my Jin? Where's my Jin? No, I mean, really though, where is Jin? Oh yeah, he's gone, bro. But yeah, dude, as I'm progressing in Death Stranding 2, once again, I don't know if this is the best looking video game I've ever seen. It might be. It really might be. Like, it's on a level that not many games achieve, and God, it's just so, like, one of the more difficult things with Death Stranding 2 is when you are playing it and you're delivering, like, just, you got to be real careful not to get too distracted by the scenery, bro, because too many times I've almost completely toppled over or, like, you know, fell down a mountainside or a cliffside because I'm staring at everything around me and not actually looking at Sam and what the hell I'm doing. And it's so funny because it's like, that's such a unique problem to have in a game. It's a good problem, but I haven't even gotten to that boss battle yet. Yeah, I mean, people have been kind of teasing stuff, and this is why I'm hesitant to talk too much about it because I don't want anything spoiled for me or anybody else. But I've definitely heard about some interesting boss battles that take place, and yeah, man, I one of the things I was saying leading up to Death Stranding 2, and I still feel this way knowing that I have so many hours left before I even feel like I'm anywhere close to being like halfway done, is that Death Stranding 2 likely has some surprises for us. Like Kojima probably still has a few more tricks up his sleeve. And based off of some of the things that I've encountered so far, yeah, I can get the sense already that, man, he's teasing, like, even just 10 hours in, like, there's stuff being teased, and I'm like, okay. And it's tough because, like, it creates this feeling of like I want to get through quicker. Like I want to like speed ahead so I can see what the hell's about to go down or what this is like building up to. But the gameplay is so, I don't know what it is about Death Stranding 2's gameplay, and the same thing can be said for Death Stranding 1, but it's such a particular type of gameplay experience that it almost makes me a little bit of a perfectionist, where there is something so interesting about when you're at the porter station or wherever, and you're setting up your loadout, and it's like, okay, well, I should probably bring a ladder with me. There's a good chance I might need that. I'm gonna bring maybe some what's the spray? It's like the package repair spray, because if you get caught in the time fall rain, and I mean, this is like the most unique mechanic where if you were caught in the time fall rain, the longer you're out there, the more damage it corrodes the actual packaging. And so you have the package repair spray, and that's come in handy. And you bring the PPC builder or something. I forget. I don't know. Forgive me. There's still so many like I can't remember the names of every single item in this game. But basically, the item you need to build different structures, you can bring that with you as well. Those have come in handy. I haven't really built any roads yet or anything, though. The PCC, I had it the other way. Yeah, thank you. I don't think I've gotten to the part yet where you can start building roads. I have to be close to it. I've gotten my first vehicle and forgot how useful they are. I mean, geez, man, you're talking about. You know what's weird though is, like, even though I have access to a vehicle, I still kind of prefer to go on foot. Am I the only one who feels that way? Dark Horse, just a heads up, it's being reported that they're happening on Wednesday. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that. Is it crazy that you consider Death Stranding a cozy game during the long walking segments? Not at all. No, it absolutely is. The stress levels rise when you're like looking out in the distance and you're like, oh, this is going to be a nice little walk, nice little trip from where I am now to where I got to go deliver these packages. And like halfway through, your thing starts going off and it slows down and everything gets ominous. And it's like, okay, there's a bunch of BTs around. It's like, well, I was enjoying it, but now it's time for some action or some stealth. Yeah, I've encountered the new Watcher BTs, and I actually like them better, I think. All right, guys, I have some good news. Ray's like, the mic is real. Actually, yeah, Mrs. MBG was apparently one of the things you can't do if it's a dupe is register it on the actual website, obviously, because you use the serial code or the serial number. I'm happy to say it went through fine. It's officially registered. It can even, I have a warranty with it, and it can be repaired if anything goes wrong. So I'm assuming none of that would be able to happen if it was not legitimate. So that's a relief, bro. Yeah, that's an early W, a relief. I was feeling really nervous because the sale price for this mic seemed too good to be true. I'm like, this can't be real. But I guess, yeah, there we go. So thank you to Mrs. MBG for dealing with my shit, because I was like freaking out, being like, I messed up. I screwed up. What am I going to do? And she helped me out here. So and now I'm excited. Here, what I might do is when I end this stream, I think I'll try setting it up, and then maybe I'll do a short members lounge and we can just hang out and we test it out and experiment. I am definitely eager to see how it turns out, because I've been using this microphone for years, dude, and it's finally starting to crap out. I think the quality of this microphone has held up. Certainly, it's absolutely held up. You know, it got the job done. Me and this mic, we've had some good times. Hellbound says Mrs. MBGW. She's a real one. She deserves another Stanley.
One more thing. Also, explain to them, please, because I don't want them thinking you took their money. The reason why we were looking at one on sale is because you had to buy this stuff for you to work. Because the $500 only covers the mic and it doesn't cover that. So we were trying to find a cheaper one so we can buy what you needed to actually get it to work, and the arm, which I don't know where you put it, but make sure you tell them that. So
All right. All right, well, we got everything now. We got the Scarlet 2i2, I guess. So this is going to be needed. Man, this shit looks intimidating. I'm not going to lie. Well, it doesn't look too bad. I did a little bit of research on this, and this apparently is the go-to. Got the XLR cables, so we should be in business. I swear if I do all this and there isn't like a noticeable difference in the audio quality. Oh man. The packages were delivered, bro. Sam Porter Bridges delivered these packages. All right. You think my voice is going to sound super velvety? I am curious. I won't lie. I'm really curious. But getting back to yeah, we gotta give Mrs. MBG a couple thumbs up. I forgot about that system in Death Stranding 2, the whole like system and how you can thumbs up people. Did anybody encounter anything that I put out there? I mean, I haven't put many things out. I think I made 2 structures. I think they were both like timefall shelters. And I think I put like a couple of like keeping on things or whatever. But that's such a cool mechanic that I gotta say, like there might be no better feeling than I know. I read it. We'll see. There may be no better feeling than like when you come to like a really large like river or whatever, or stream, and then like there's just a bridge that somebody built. And it's like, that's it. You could just ride over it or walk over it. And I'm like, my God, it's stuff like that. It's all, and then you feel compelled, like, I got to leave it a like. Got to leave it a like. We're going to hear MBG's real voice. He's going to sound like Morgan Freeman. How many side quests am I going to do? I mean, I'm not too worried about the side quests right now. I'm going to come back. And, 5-star everything at some point. I'm assuming you'll be able to do that. You're too busy building roads and monorails. I haven't gotten to that portion of the game yet. As far as I'm aware, I don't think I can build roads yet. But yeah, the roads and the monorails are going to make a huge difference, certainly. You've seen so much crap you haven't had the need. You don't see the need to build your own structures. I mean, I kind of feel like that too. Garrett, where I'm like, man, there's so many different things already built. It's like, I feel like at this point, if I just try to build something, I'm just trying to fit in and be like, oh, look, I built something too, guys. No, I am in Australia now, but I'm like really, really early in Australia. So I don't know if I have to be on the cusp. I don't know if there's like a dedicated mission for it. I just completed the mission where there was an outpost that was taken over by like mercenaries and I had to fight them and I took them all out. And that's right where I left off. Your first road structure is right outside the government quarters. Oh, okay. I wonder if I missed it then or something. I'll have to look into it. There isn't a dedicated mission. Okay. Oh shit. See, that worries me. I'm gonna end up be halfway through the game. Like, when am I gonna get to these road structures, bro? Like, when's that mission coming up? It's like, there is no mission, man. I'll have to look around then a little bit. I mean, the game is pretty open, you know. It's got a lot going on at any one time, and I'm trying to like not get too overwhelmed where it's like I want to go here, I want to go there. I know that they have like I'm getting into it quicker, but the game is starting to open up a little bit more, and I'm like, okay, it's definitely more that I have to like, there are definitely things that I'm walking past or seemingly or passing by. Got to be a little bit more aware. Oh, it's a side mission. Okay, that would explain it then. Yeah, I just recently came across the it's the guy what was he called, like the lone soldier or something like that, the lone warrior or whatever. But he like didn't want to. I'm gonna have to do more, I think, deliveries for him to earn his trust. No, Michael, I haven't come across that one yet, bro. You always put a sign in the middle of the ramp at the distro buildings. It's a good way to get likes, but it also makes me feel good when I hit them coming in or leaving. I mean, that's the thing, man. It's so cool to hear you guys sharing your thoughts on Death Stranding 2 so far, because I feel like this game really has come such a long way. I remember back in 2019 when it really felt like I had to kind of like fight to like come on, guys, like let's rally around this game. It's unique, it's different. It's probably not going to be for everybody. It's a little bit controversial maybe, but I think there's going to be something great here. And a lot of people who did play it, they saw what was there and they felt it was great. Didn't win everybody over, but now it feels like Death Stranding 2 it's finally, I don't know, man. It's just like everything's clicking perfectly, or as well as it can, to where it's like, again, I know some people completely disagreed with my take on Twitter when I said that I think this may end up being a game of the generation, not the game, but a game of the generation. And my explanation for that was like, dude, if the first like 10 hours of what I played so far is anything to go by, if this game is anywhere near as good as I'm expecting it to be by the time I reach the ending and I finished with it, especially if I like platinum it, I mean, to me, a game of the generation is one of those titles where it's like, when I think back to like, what are some of the standout titles I played on PS5 from the start of the generation to the end? What are like some of the top games that come to mind? I could see this being one of them. Absolutely. Death Stranding 1 certainly was one for the PS4, no doubt. But this time it's a little bit different because I'm experiencing the generation from start to finish. With the PS4 generation, I was late to it. So I had to kind of like, I was able to just feast and play everything like back to back to back to back. It's kind of crazy actually. But yeah, man, it's just fantastic to see this game finally get the recognition that I believe it always deserved, and it's winning more people over. And there are a lot of people in agreement with me that this is a game of the year contender and potentially a standout game of the generation. And it's just one of these. I think it's a bittersweet moment in a sense, because it's like it does feel like this may be the last time we get a Death Stranding game, but it's I haven't beat the game yet, but it feels like this is going to be a good note for this series to maybe end on. If it is the only, if this is the final Death Stranding game that's ever made, and Kojima, he's moving on the fizzing and whatnot, it's feeling like this is good. So in the future, people who never played any of the Death Stranding games, they'll be like, oh, I'm going to play Death Stranding 1 and 2 back to back. I think it's going to be a hell of a ride, dude. Absolutely. I have not started drop kicking people yet, but that sounds amazing. It's one of those games where you look back and wish you could experience it for the first time again. That's why I'm trying to savor it, man. Absolutely. Yeah. That's why I'm taking my time. I'm soaking it all in. I'm not rushing it. I'm trying to I'm trying to embrace the chaos of it all in certain situations when it's funny to me because I have experience obviously playing Death Stranding 1 and encountering the BTs and the stress of that, but I definitely overestimated myself where I'm like, this is easy. I know what I'm doing, and I was sneaking past this watcher and I'm like, no problem. And it started notifying me I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. The thing is spinning like crazy. Starting to get a little nervous, but I'm like, I got this. And then it's just like, no, it saw you, bro. And I'm like, all right, well, time to take it out. And then I just kept messing up my button prompts where I'm like, okay, I just got to get the blood grenades out. And I couldn't do it. I was panicking because I'm like, okay, now I'm stuck in the tar. Don't. And I had a lot of packages. I'm like, okay, dude, I picked up a bunch of extra loose packages that I found on the way here. I don't want to. Come on, get it together. But I was panicking and I couldn't get the blood grenades out in time. The watcher grabbed me multiple times. So I'm like, oh my God. I know that, obviously this game isn't the most punishing if you die, but if you do, especially if you die to the BTs, you're going to leave a crater. And it's just it just feels like a reminder of your failure, bro. It's crazy. And they make you feel guilty about it. Everybody in the surrounding area dies. Thanks. It makes me feel real good. Yeah. But it was interesting because it made me think about my first experience in Death Stranding 1 with the BTs, where a similar thing happened, except that time around I was way more scared because I'm like, I remember there was this one area. It was a long stretch of forest. And then you got to the facility at the end, and there were BTs all over the forest, and I nearly died 5 times trying to get to the end of it. But the feeling of relief of holy shit, I survived, barely made it out of there. And no, I don't actually tie my packages down. Apparently you can do that. I saw a video clip of that trending. I'm like, holy shit, I had no idea. How has the game made you emotional at all as a father? Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, again, without talking too much story beat stuff, yeah. It's got a lot going on, certainly. And Guy Gravity 21 comes in and renews his membership and takes us to 27 members on the day. Guy Gravity, thank you so much for that, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I feel like I got to get a Death Stranding 2 soundbite. He said, forgot to update my payment information to support my favorite YouTuber. Well, thank you so much for that, Guy Gravity. Yeah, appreciate all the support you guys have been showing. We're let's say the last day of the month. So yeah, it's been a really good month for the channel. We've gotten good support, good viewership, a lot of streams, a lot of videos. We'll keep on keeping on, man. Going into July, I gotta say, I'm very, very, very excited. Yeah, we got a new mic, which hopefully it all works out. But I'm very, very excited at the notion of this Ghost of Yotei dedicated state of play. Very, very excited about that, man. I know we didn't get a PlayStation showcase, but the fact that Sony has all these different little shows that they're doing and dedicated state of plays. I appreciate it. I absolutely appreciate it. Am I doing reps today? I don't know, Silent Spartan. Do we need to do reps? Do I need to break out the dumbbells? We got to get the Metal Gear music pumping. We eating good. Well, let's see where we're at. We're at 27. Guys, if we end up hitting 50 before the time the stream wraps up, we'll do some reps. We'll get some reps in, bro. It's been too long. I should be okay. I don't know if it's coming through. I don't know if it's showing up real good on the camera, but I'm tanning, man. Like you can see it. If you see the inside of my arm, it's like pure, like white. I got burnt real good the other day. 3 more to 30. We could do it, Shadowlink. We could do it. You think we're getting a fall showcase? I mean, I don't want to rule it out. I know we're going to get another state of play. Could it be a showcase? Sony is known to do, when they do showcases, they are known to do them in September. They've done 2 September showcases this generation. Could they have a third? Maybe. I hope so. I hope so, bro. Yeah, I saw that video, the Ghost of Yotei Collector's Edition. The only thing about the Collector's Edition, the Collector's Editions that Sony does that people are kind of annoyed about, and I sympathize with this, is not getting a physical copy of the game where they still give you a digital version. And that does kind of suck because it's like, man, you're paying so much for these, you're paying so much for the Collector's Edition that you would think, at the very least, come on, we got to get a physical copy of the game. And I'll change this real quick. We'll do, if we hit 50, we'll do reps. So we'll see if we can get that before. Yeah, man. I got to wear a tank top or go shirtless. Got to get rid of that farmer's tan. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I have now, a farmer's tan. I mean, I've had a farmer's tan many times in my life. I don't know though. I didn't realize I was getting sunburned. It kind of sneaks up on you sometimes. And that's what was crazy is I thought it was perfectly fine. And then just like a couple hours later, like suddenly my skin was burning like crazy. I'm like, what the? I thought I was good. But got to be careful out there, man. You got the Doom Collector's Edition, only got 10% of the game on the disc. My burned skin is noticeable. Yeah, and you know what's interesting is apparently in Death Stranding 2, Sam can get sunburn in that, you know, I mean, it makes sense. You're in Australia. I got like multiple notifications saying like your sunburn is fully healed or something like that. But yeah, man, when it comes to the sales data for Death Stranding that I went over, I'm just going to straight up push back against anybody who's using that as a way to make it seem like Death Stranding 2 isn't doing well. It's simply not enough to gauge any actual meaningful information. It is data. It's still, you know, raw numbers, but really we need to find out how well this game did digitally, and we need to see how it did in other territories before we can honestly, like genuinely try to discern if this game is a sales success. And I have to be honest, I am interested in this because I want to see Death Stranding 2 succeed sales-wise. It would be mega disappointing if it's like some kind of sales failure or something. I don't think it is. But it's one of those games that I definitely am rooting for it, and I would like to see it do well enough that Kojima Productions is happy, that Sony's happy, and everybody involved is happy. It doesn't have to be like some kind of record-breaking success or anything like that, but I just want to see a game like this do well enough that it's like we can keep, you know, it can encourage some developers out there. Granted, Kojima can kind of do whatever he wants, but, you know, just kind of show that you can make unique, different types of games like this in the AAA space and still find success. But speaking of Ghost of Yotei, it is true. They put out a video for the collector's edition of this game, and it does seem like there's a fair amount of interest and excitement. I think the pre-orders for the digital version went live as well, by the way. It seems like people are stoked for this game because, like, I'm looking at the trailer right now. Ghost of Yotei Collector's Edition trailer. It's a minute long. It's already got over 268,000 views in 7 hours. It's got over 12,000 likes. But the top comment is somebody saying, I miss physical games being included in the collector's editions. This person said collector's edition announcement before gameplay. I think that's weak because it's like, bro, they're doing a dedicated state of play. And Silent Spartan, oh my God, bro. Silent Spartan, he's like, yo, you doing reps today, MBG? I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. If we hit 50, I will. He's like, I got you. He drops on, dude. Holy shit.
Holy shit.
Silent Spartan has officially earned a new nickname. Silent Membership Monster Spartan, bro. It's the membership monster. Oh my God. That is dude. He has, this has to be a record. Like, for sure. You're gonna be putting my kids through Yale. Prince Groove says we have a new goal. Dude, that's like 7 or 8 streams in a row where he came in dropping 50 memberships. That is, I don't think anybody's going to ever beat that record. He's keeping that streak going. He's got that member streak, bro. Oh, man. Well, we definitely got to do some reps today. MBG, can we get pronunciation therapy for 5 years? That's what Silent Spartan's paying for, bro. Silent Spartan, seriously, thank you so much, man. You're a big reason why this month has been so successful for the channel. You've been dropping these 50 bombs like they're nothing, and it makes such a huge difference. I mean, we have amazing people here in the community, very generous people always dropping super chats, membership gifts, becoming members, direct donations. And we also have people who are, you know, even more generous and dropping even more, like what you're doing with the 50 bombs, bro. And I always just try to make it known that stuff like this is truly the difference maker. We are able to keep the channel sponsorship free. It's no offense to, you know, the sponsors out there that are working with other content creators, no problem at all. I just prefer to keep it sponsorship free. And as long as we are, it's a sign, I think, of the health of the channel that we don't need to worry about that. You know, it makes everything, I think, smoother. And yeah, man, God, I'm in disbelief. We are now at 77 members, bro. That is wild. We went from 27 to 77 members. And yeah, we'll be doing reps. When we wrap these conversations up, man, we'll be doing some reps. Any song requests? Well, I mean, like video game music. I don't know if I could play actual. I mean, I played Soundgarden a couple times, and I definitely get copyrighted, and I have to like delete it from the stream. But thank you, Silent Spartan. Yeah, I appreciate that, bro. You let me, you know, also, I forgot to ask you, would you like a soundbite? Because you've definitely, you've earned a soundbite, bro. If you think of a soundbite that you would like, I'll see if I can make it happen. Because some of the soundbites I have, like I give Corey his Old Snake soundbite. Should I as well one time for the channel? You like the Arnold one? I'm thinking about trying to find a new Arnold soundbite. It's been a while. I have the one from Jingle All the Way that put the cookie down. I haven't used that in a while. But here you go, Silent Spartan. And also every day with the 50 bombs.
I'll be back.
Straight up. Shadowlink, what are you saying? You're gonna drop a 50 bomb one time for the channel? You're gonna drop it? Dude, some people show up in surprising ways. I think I remember like MRPD, I don't know if he's here, but he was good for it. I remember he made like some kind of bet or something. And I think I don't know if he lost it, but he's like, I'm good for it, bro. And he did. He dropped 50 memberships. I'm like, damn, bro. Thanks. Yes or no, MBG? I need an answer. Yes. Yes, Shadowlink. I'll drop 100 bomb. Is that a thing? Oh my God. I'm trying to just stretch a little bit because now I know I'm going to have to do reps. How's the day going so far? It's going good, man. My new mic arrived today. I'm going to get that set up later. We are going to do a members lounge a little bit later on. I got off to a late start today, though. That's the only negative is I slept in a little bit today. I didn't really want to, but I was up way too late last night. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how people stay up for like a day or two at a time or they operate on like 3 or 4 hours of sleep for like 3 or 4 days in a row. I can't do that. If I get 2 nights of just like broken sleep, I'm not well, bro. Like I just can't function properly. I'm cranky. I'm irritable. I'm like a baby that needs his nap, and I don't take naps. Even with coffee, I'm still like that, and it just gets progressively worse throughout the day. So that's why I'm like, I guess it's best if I just sleep in for another hour or two. Energy drinks, that's life on deployment. Mrs. MBG used to drink energy drinks a lot. She loved them. I never got into energy drinks. She doesn't drink them anymore. I remember I tried getting into like Monster Energy a little bit. I'm like, it tastes good. Doesn't taste like something doesn't taste quite right though. Like there's got to be something wrong with this. I don't know. But ever since I found coffee, I'm like, this is it. I also, speaking of coffee, I just got some amaretto coffee beans. Actually, that we just grinded up. Anybody like amaretto flavor? That's like my favorite flavor for anything. Amaretto ice cream, amaretto coffee creamer, amarettos themselves. Red Bull. Never got into Red Bull, dude. Speaking of Monster Energy, wasn't Monster a sponsor of Death Stranding 1? I think they were. Those were the energy drinks that you would drink before you would go out on a delivery, and it would boost your stamina. It would give you like a 5th bar. I'm doing that again, but I don't recognize the energy drink they're using. I don't know if it's just a fake brand or if it's actually like a real Japanese brand of energy drink. It looks real. It looks convincing. You put Baileys in your coffee. You love high quality coffee ice cream. Hell yeah, dude. Flavored coffee is an abomination. What? Apparently, yeah, I actually really do like almonds. I can't eat them that often, though. Can't eat them that often because they give me kidney stones. Yeah. Shadowlink, you're saying, I got an error trying to send. Bro tried to send a 50 bomb, and they were like, nah, that's good, man. I don't know. Sometimes people try to drop memberships on the channel or large like super chats, and it's I don't know if it's their bank. Sometimes it could be your bank. I mean, look, Shadowlink, I don't know how badly you want to drop those 50 memberships. Obviously, I'll take them. They'll help the channel. No pressure at all, bro. It's the thought that counts. But if it's like the bank or something, yeah, I don't know. I know that happens to Corey sometimes. I remember it was that one time Corey was dropping so many, like the bank literally, or not the bank, YouTube actually. There's like a limit, by the way, on YouTube where you can only drop so many gifts in like one single day, and they're like, yeah, we're not letting you drop anymore. It's crazy. And 223 Gaming comes in and renews their membership at the Play Has No Limits tier. Thank you so much for that, 223 Gaming. I appreciate that. And I always try to encourage anybody, if you end up getting a member gift and you like having the membership, if it's within your means, consider dropping the $5 a month to support the channel. That type of direct support month over month goes a lot further than it seems. So thank you to everybody who does that. And 223 Gaming, this is for you, bro.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And that does bring us up to 78. You're saying if it won't this time, I promise I'll get you later. Oh, it's all good, bro. Silence said Shadowlink, Silent Spartan, getting your names confused here. Shadowlink, like I said, man, it's the thought that counts. You're already a paying member, and every contribution helps. It does, man. So no pressure. No pressure at all. Have I ever shopped at organic places like Whole Foods or Trader Joe's? Yeah, Mrs. MEG loves Trader Joe's. I've shopped at Whole Foods a couple times, but she loves going to Trader Joe's, and they do have some really good stuff there, man. Trader Joe's is such a unique place, and they offer stuff there sometimes that you just can't find anywhere else. So definitely no stranger to that. But what were we talking about? I think we were talking about Ghost of Yotei. How are we feeling? I mean, overall, I got to ask. I feel like generally speaking, people are feeling very good about Ghost of Yotei. But I feel like now that we're getting close to the state of play and the release in October, I'm thinking people are starting to feel really good about it. And Garrett Green comes in, a rare membership gift from Garrett Green. He's shown his support, and we're actually at 79. I forgot to count the membership renewal. So, guys, I don't know if we'll be able to do it or not, but we maybe, just maybe, we'll end up hitting 100. It's possible. It's within reach. I think there are 21 away now, which is crazy. Crazy. Hitting 25 members alone is a lot, man. Hitting 100 is nuts. Saying Death Stranding 2 is game of the year. It shouldn't even be close. This is the first next-gen game. That's some high praise, but praise that I can agree with. Yeah, it feels great, man. Like, I don't know what it is. This game's got something going on. I can't quite put my finger on it. And I don't want to like sum it up to it's the Kojima magic, because that sounds too, maybe that sounds a bit too, it's like too much praise for just one person, because it's the entire development team that makes it. But this game's definitely got something. It's got some kind of aura around it, and it's got some kind of energy, some kind of vibe. Yeah, it sounds a little cheesy to say it that way, but I'm picking it up, and I guess the best way to put it is like, it feels, Death Stranding 2 feels like, yeah, Kojima and his team still got it. They still got it. Not that they ever lost it, but it's just like, people start to question, Kojima's getting older, and, has his team changed at all? It's like, no, dude, they still got it. He's still got that spark. He's got that flair, that this is an unmistakable Hideo Kojima game, and the vision that he had and the way his team executed on that vision, so good. So good, man. In fact, I'm actually, once we wrap up this stream and I wrap up the members lounge, that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the day. I want to play some more Death Stranding. You woke up at 6:30 a.m. thinking you have to work, but you don't. That's kind of like the best feeling, though, right? It's the first game that's actually utilizing hardware. Oh my God, bro, he did it. He did. No way, bro. Shadowlink. What? Bro, Shadowlink just came in and dropped the 50 bomb on you guys. He dropped 50 more memberships. Bro called the bank. He's like, yo, I'm trying to drop a 50 bomb on this guy's channel. You guys are getting in my way. When he said he would get it later, I didn't think he literally meant this stream. This is crazy. This is crazy, dude. Guys, listen, right now we don't have a ton of viewership, naturally we're just casually talking about some games here. No major breaking news. I don't know how many new people are here in the chat, but if you're new or if you just are not aware, click either of the 50 memberships, whether it be Silent Spartan or Shadowlink. Make sure you opt in to be able to receive a membership gift, okay? Because it's been popping off, bro, with the membership gifts. And Lost Isley comes in and drops another 5 memberships because the 50 apparently just wasn't enough. Holy shit, a massive member train. You guys are incredible, seriously. Thank you so much for this kind of support, man. Like I said, we come in with a goal of trying to hit 25 members. We cap it at 100. You guys blew past 100. I'll update it when the counter's done. Holy shit. I'll just do another plug. If you get a membership gift, go check out the Members Lounge content, okay? It's been a little bit. We're going to be doing another Members Lounge today, but we did one not that long ago, but we also did a Days Gone remastered gameplay. But beware of spoilers for that one because it's the end of the game. I'm still on chapter 3. Yeah, you're definitely way ahead of me. You're way ahead of me. You're hitting chapter 8. Okay. Yeah, I got to pick up the pace. And we have a super chat from Michael Lynch. He says, I thought you said Claire 33 should be game of the year. I still feel that way. To be clear, Claire Obscura Expedition 33 is still my game of the year currently. It's just that I can't deny that Death Stranding 2 is easily one of my most anticipated games this generation. There is a chance that Death Stranding 2 will take over Claire Obscure. And I'm not going to lie, there's a really high chance of that. And I know people are going to say, oh, it's because it's a PS5 game where it's an exclusive. Not really. I love Death Stranding 1, and I love Kojima's games. Metal Gear Solid is my favorite series of all time. If this game, I have to see how it makes me feel by the time I get to the middle and, the later act and see how it wraps up. Because the thing about Claire Obscure, the thing that's going to always give Claire Obscure a little bit more credit, no matter what, is the shock of I never played a game like this. I can't believe how good it is. This game, the fact that it was a first-time developer, that's always going to fall in its favor. But I don't know, man. Listen, if Claire Obscure wins Game of the Year, if it beats Death Stranding, if it beats Ghost of Yotei, and what's that other game that came out? Split Fiction. If it beats all these games, I'm going to be cheering it on because Claire Obscure absolutely deserves it. It's still one of the best games ever, I think. It's just that I can't deny that, this is a game I've been anticipating. And if it lives up to my expectations, which are very high, to be clear, that's the big difference between Claire Obscure and Death Stranding 2 is that I'm going into Death Stranding with automatic, very high expectations. Claire Obscura had almost no expectations. So it gets that kind of edge because of that. But I could very well see, absolutely, I could see this being I could see Death Stranding 2 edging out Claire Obscura for me. But, okay, so it looks like it finally settled down. Guys, we are officially sitting at 134 members, dude. 134 members. We put a cap at 100, and you guys blew past that. Again, Shadowlink, huge shout out to you and Silent Spartan tag teaming it, bro. 250 bombs, making it 100. Cannot thank you guys enough. And I got to ask you, Shadowlink, what soundbite would you like, my friend? We are going to talk about Resident Evil 9, before the show wraps up. That's going to be after we finish talking about Death Stranding and Ghost of Yotei. You think Death Stranding 2 surpasses expectations? Silent Spartan, you're saying DS2 is your game of the year. You platinumed Expedition 33 and loved it, but DS2 just hits different. You don't see that changing on your end. I mean, I kind of get what you're saying. Yeah. There's something I don't know. This is what I mean when I say like there's some kind of aura around Death Stranding 2, and like the way the story's being told, and it's just got this vibe. And I know that people get really crazy about the game of the year talk, but whether it's Death Stranding 2 that takes it, whether it's Claire Obscure, you know, I feel like these are all amazing games that, I mean, damn, dude. A showdown between Death Stranding 2 and Claire Obscure at the end of the year would be a hell of a game of the year showdown. I remember years in like 2018 when it's God of War 2018 going up against Red Dead 2, and it's like two absolute juggernauts duking it out. And God of War ended up taking that one, which is still crazy to think. Crazy to think God of War beat out Red Dead 2 for Game of the Year. But I think what would be an even crazier matchup would be something like Death Stranding 2, made by industry legend and veteran Kojima with, you know, his own studio. And then, you know, Sandfall, I think that's the name of the studio. Sandfall Entertainment, first-time studio, a lot of first-time devs, first game. I mean, that's a hell of a showdown where it's like no matter who wins, I think, you know, people will be happy, because you don't see stuff like this. You don't see, this is why 2025 is shaping up to be such an interesting year in gaming, because you just don't see stuff like this. Split Fiction coming out, being a super unique game, you know, once again proving to be a game of the year contender, selling millions of copies. Then you get Claire Obscure coming out of nowhere, being a potential game of the generation for many people, putting this studio on the map, in a way, kind of like reigniting the turn-based RPG genre. And then you get Death Stranding 2, which is just kind of off the chain, which is a term I don't use often, but genuinely kind of unhinged in some sense of like, here we go, man, buckle up. And we're a little over halfway through the year. So see, that's what interests me, Spartan, what you're saying. You're saying you're on chapter 7 and you got to say you've had moments in this game that just hit me in the core of my soul. I mean, yeah, I'm only on chapter 3, and so far there were a couple of moments where, like, there's one thing that happened in particular, which again, I will not spoil, but it, you know, if you're past chapter 3, you probably already know what I'm talking about, because it happens relatively early on in the game. There's something that already happened that I'm like, well, this is devastatingly sad. But it's insert, you know, Ron Burgundy, like, I don't believe you. You know what I mean? And again, I won't say what it is. Most of you who played it, though, you probably know what I'm talking about. But it's just came out of nowhere to a point where I'm like, I don't believe you, though. I don't believe you. But that interests me, man. I can't wait to progress. I can't wait to get to more chapters, because people keep kind of like teasing, like, bro, if you're not, like, if you're still in chapter 2 or 3, like, you don't even know it's coming. You don't even know it's coming. See, you're saying Neo's doing it. He's like I said, man, you've only seen the tip of the iceberg. It is an appropriate meme, right? Well, guys, that's it. I'm wrapping up the stream. We're done. I'm shutting it down. I'm not doing a members on. I'm just going to go play some Death Stranding 2. No, we got plenty of time. Seems like that storm passed as well. The creativity of this game is off the charts. It doesn't have twists and turns so far, but like I said, there are definitely moments that got me choked up and thinking about life. Yeah, I mean, that's what I look for a lot of times. Not in every game, but there are just some games, like what you're describing. This is how I feel about the Metal Gear Solid games. Like, when I look back and I'm like, the Metal Gear Solid games, growing up playing some of them, like MGS3, MGS2 especially, and I'm a young kid, still don't fully understand or grasp like the weight of some of the topics that it's touching on and some of the themes that are being conveyed. But having some kind of inherent understanding, like, I'm feeling a certain way, and I've literally never experienced this feeling before. I'm not kidding when I tell you, like, this is why I'm confident in saying that Death Stranding 2 could absolutely be a game of the generation for me. It's because I don't want to spoil anything about Death Stranding 1, but like there's a part at the end of Death Stranding 1 where it's like, and there it is. And there it is. And it's if you beat it and you play, because I know some people here are still playing Death Stranding 1, but if you beat the game and you made it to the very end of the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like it all just comes together. It's that moment, and you're like, there it is. There it is. And it evokes just some kind of feeling, some kind of emotion that, you know, it makes me think back to how, like, again, beating MGS2 for the first time, you know, I'm like a 10-year-old kid, 10 years old, alone in my bedroom, you know, with my PS2. It's probably a summer day. You know, finally making it to the end of that game, and the credits start rolling. And that I forget the name of the song that plays in MGS2. It's a famous one. Somebody remind me the name. I know somebody here knows off the top of their head the name of the song that plays at the credits for Metal Gear Solid 2. But that song starts playing, and it's after, you know, we're telling you it's going to make you cry. And I just remember sitting there at like 9-10 years old being like, just with this feeling that I didn't understand. The only thing I knew is like, I've never felt this way before. Like whatever this emotion is that I'm feeling, it's not like sadness per se. It's just, it's something profound, you know, like it was the first time I actually felt that. And I'll never forget it because I was like, I like didn't know what to do. I'm like, do I go tell my parents? Who do I talk to about this? Like, it was weird because it was like, this was pre-internet, you know, or like before me being on the internet. And so I just kind of felt like I just experienced something that nobody knows about. And of course, it was Metal Gear Solid 2. Millions of people played it. Millions of people felt it. But at that point, I was like disconnected. You know, I'm just a young kid. And I'm like, I don't know. It felt kind of life-changing in a way. And I know that sounds really loaded because it's like, dude, it's just a video game. But I don't know, man. It hit my soul. Can't say goodbye to yesterday. There you go. Yeah, I felt like I was really on a... It's just crazy. It's crazy. Like, I do wonder if the age that I experienced that game and that story, I wonder if that made a big difference in the impact it had on me. Because I sometimes wonder if I was like a grown adult playing MGS2 for the first time, if it would hit the same way. But then that carried over to MGS3. And MGS3 hit me even harder, dude. Like, I remember the end of MGS3, same thing. And this is why, like, people who are going to be experiencing Metal Gear Solid Delta for the first time, I'm like, you don't, like, I'm jealous. I'm jealous because it's like, I wish I could re-experience that story in that game for the first time. And I'll never forget, like, the very end of that game and, you know, seeing Snake salute and the whole 9 yards. And then, you know, that song, Way to Fall plays. And I'm like, again, I'm like not, I played MGS2 a little bit late, and I think I played MGS2. Let me see. So MGS3 came out in November of 2004. So there's a real good chance I wasn't playing that until probably December. Maybe I got it for Christmas or maybe early 2005 because I had to wait for my parents to buy it for me. So I think I played MGS2 maybe 2003. I think 2002, 2003, and then I was super stoked for the build-up to MGS3. I remember reading about it in magazines. And then I beat that game, and like, yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, Metal Gear Solid really kind of does define my... Like, I mean, for me, and that's what I mean. Like, I'm not trying to give all the credit to Kojima, because obviously he had teams he was working with, but, you know, he was the visionary behind it. And I'm like... This, like, Hideo Kojima, no joke, has had like a profound impact on my life growing up. And that's wild. And that's why, like, earlier in the stream when I was saying the fact that he retweeted something I posted about Death Stranding 2 is like, holy shit. Like, that's like a full circle moment for me. And so I don't know, I'm just grateful in a way. Like, I'm grateful that it's like, man, this dude's out here still making games, still trying to touch our souls, bro. He's trying to evoke that emotion. And when I think about other games I love, like The Last of Us Part 1, yeah, I'm not going to talk about Part 2. I'm just going to talk about Part 1. Same thing. You know, that game, it hits. It hits like a ton of bricks, but man, it hits. And it just knows how to evoke that emotion. So, yeah, man, I guess all this is to say that, like, this is what it's all about. Clair Obscur, you know, going back to that game. One of the things that I was not prepared for with that title was, like, how much the story and the characters and the theme of, like, loss. I had no idea. Like, I'll be honest, like, I literally had no effing idea what this game was even about. And even from, like, the first hour or two of playing it, where it's like introducing the gommage and the characters and setting up what's about to happen, and I'm like, whoa. And then it just goes on and on and on, and it's just like has more and more layers and more depth. And you know, it's definitely has some commentary on life itself, and just it all hits, man. And I think it goes to show that the medium of video games is unlike any other medium. I mean, music evokes emotion. Obviously, I listen to music constantly. I can't imagine living without music. Movies, TV, you know, all these things evoke emotion. But the thing that will always get me about video games, and what is so impressive in a way to me, is that, like, it seems so difficult to create something that's interactive and requires a certain level of engagement, and I think in some ways it's like that can almost, I won't say fully because maybe a loaded statement. It's like in some cases that can almost facilitate an even greater depth of emotion in some instances, because of that added layer of interaction and immersion that it creates. So there we go, man. See, that was a Death Stranding 2 inspired, not rant, but just discussion. Yeah, books as well, of course. Yeah, books are amazing, bro. Like, it's crazy how maybe, yeah, that could be actually, reading a book could be the single most immersive thing, because it literally requires you to activate your imagination. And you're kind of creating, in a sense, while you're engaging. Yeah, Michael, dude, they came out swinging, bro. You dropped 20 memberships earlier. They came out swinging. They're like, we're gonna keep it going. Neurons activated, exactly. But yeah, that's always. I don't read enough. I need to read more. I would do well to read more. I used to read a lot, though, growing up in my early 20s. And it's so interesting to me, like, how your mind, it's really good for your mind, your imagination, visualization. It's, in that sense, it's almost like a unique experience. Like, everybody can read the same book, but we all have, like, kind of a different vision in our minds of what we're seeing, of the characters, of the settings, of the, you know, of the situations. And in that sense, you could make an argument that reading is actually the most immersive, in a sense. But yeah, I don't know, man. I love storytelling. I always have. And growing up playing video games, it's just so funny to me. It's so funny because I think it's a similar story for so many people, where, like, I was telling you guys, my first, like, real video game experience, I think, was playing Super Smash Bros. On the N64. I'm like, this is great. You know? This is great. And to see, like, what it can eventually turn into. It's good shit. I'm just kind of rambling at this point, but your gaming channel was in the chat and asked how your day was so far. Well, Jake Skew, it's going pretty well. Going really well, actually. Thank you for asking, dude. What's the whole rumor about them canceling Mass Effect 5? Oh, I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Let me see. The latest thing I'm seeing right now is a report from Bloomberg 32 minutes ago. Nintendo stopped selling products on Amazon US due to disagreements over unauthorized sales. Third-party game sellers undercutting Nintendo on pricing. Jeez. Just a reminder that video game companies merely tolerate used/third-party sellers. They would love nothing more than for all of them to be expunged forever. Somebody else says this is probably the biggest open secret in the industry. It's exactly why Microsoft has stopped doing physical releases for most Xbox games since 2024, and why Sony's newer PS5 revisions make the disc drive an optional attachment. Even with the market speaking, it's clear that there's a level of conditioning towards such realities where you can't just walk into a brick and mortar store and pick up a game box that these console makers would love to exercise and have even attempted to numerous times before. See the PlayStation Portable Go, the Xbox One S All Digital, or even the Series S. That's interesting. Yeah, it sucks to see, dude. Not to change the course of our conversation too dramatically, but anyone know about the Moore's Law is Dead video on PS6S? No, I haven't seen. I didn't see anything. Oops. Was this a live stream or a video? Because I haven't seen anything. Like, I'm looking at this stuff now. PS5 handheld secrets leak. Oh, that was 3 weeks ago. Huh. Yeah, no, Michael, I'm not sure, dude. Oh, it was a short. Okay. 5 days ago. Let's see. All right. Let me check this out real quick.
Is to not rush out a PS5 handheld, but instead to have a PS6 handheld that uses a 36 compute unit, but kind of like Series S, updated to all the new PS6 features, SoC, that you can use for two purposes. One is the handheld. The other one is when you launch PS6, you could go, well, yes, the PS6 is $700, but now we have the PS6S, which is $400, and we're just discontinuing the PS5. But also we can use that SoC for a handheld. That's at least what I think they should do. This could be the way to get people off PS4. I've long thought.
That's an interesting thought for sure. I mean, it makes sense if Sony wants to technically move people over to the PS6, but I feel like the problem there, the problem I think comes in the form of Sony really wants. It's not that they want, but I think that they will understand that there's a lot of people that are going to be perfectly content staying on PS5. Doesn't matter if there's a cheaper version of the PS6. They're just going to stay on PS5. And the main reason for that is because, he's speaking hypothetically, of course, but the main reason for that is because 99% of developers are still going to be releasing their games on PS5. And something like a PS6S model, I could see that being basically just as problematic as the Xbox Series S was. And that's why I think this PlayStation 6 handheld will be good, because it will kind of it'll kind of make it so that, you know, it's optional for the developers. Like, it's not mandatory. There isn't parity. There isn't a requirement of parity. Like, we want to make it easy for you to get your game up and running on the PlayStation handheld. That's going to be like a portable PS5. But if you can't, or you just don't want to, you don't have to. It's not going to interfere with the PS6. And that's why I feel like something like a PS6S, although I've said numerous times, the PS5 is essentially going to be the PS6S. It's just not going to be it in name. You know, like, devs are going to support the PS5 for so many years to come, and people are going to be so comfortable on the PS5 and even the PS5 Pro that, you know, I think Sony's still going to be counting PlayStation 5 sales in a significant way going into the second, third, and fourth year of the PS6. Could be wrong, but guys, we have one more topic that we're going to be discussing, and then we're going to wrap this up, and we're going to go to a members lounge. But the members lounge might be a bit staggered before I boot it up, because I'm gonna try to set up my microphone and we could test it out in the members lounge. But the last topic I want to talk about is Resident Evil Requiem. Requiem. I hate that name. I hate the way it sounds to say it. Requiem. Am I the only one who hates that word? What does it even mean? A mass for the what? A mass for the repose of souls of the dead. An act or token of remembrance. Okay. I think that's supposed to be what it stands for in the case of Resident Evil 9. Resident Evil Rectum. All right. So there was a big Q&A that was done for Resident Evil 9. And we did get a look at some of the gameplay, albeit a really short look, but they did show the game running in first person. They showed the game running in third person. But we have, let's see. When you first heard the announcement of Resident Evil Requiem, were the hairs on your arms suddenly standing up on end a sign of excitement, fear, or a little bit of both? Either way, there's no denying that a new entry to the classic survival horror series always gets the blood pumping. We have the producer, Masato Kumazawa. I think I'm saying that right. So yeah, he's basically doing an interview. So the PlayStation blog asks, what does Requiem infer about Resident Evil 9's story? Masato Kumazawa, says there are many layers to the title. A requiem for the protagonist, Grace Ashcroft, grappling with the loss of her mother 8 years ago, and the requiem for all the people who were caught up in the Raccoon City incident, to name just a few examples. But once you complete the game, I believe you'll find even more levels of meaning for the subtitle. When creating a story set in the ruins of Raccoon City, we felt it was fitting to have a character with a personal connection to the city itself. And they say, what made you want to bring back the Ashcroft family from Resident Evil Outbreak? They're name dropping Resident Evil Outbreak, bro. And how does Grace's inexperience factor into the player's journey? They say, when creating a story set in the ruins of Raccoon City, we felt it was fitting to have a character with a personal connection to the city itself. In this title, which aims to focus on horror, we introduce Grace as a new, relatable protagonist who is unlike previous protagonists, Leon or Chris. By making Grace someone who reflects the player's own vulnerability, we believe players will enjoy a gameplay experience filled with tension and immersion. When walking alone down a dark hallway, her breathing becomes erratic. When an enemy suddenly appears, she jumps in fright. Grace is a character with a low tolerance for fear, but she grows throughout the story and eventually begins to confront various horrors with courage. By the time players finish the game, we're confident everyone will come to love her. So, before I go on any further, I want to ask you guys, how are we feeling about this new character? I mean, I love the fact that they're name dropping Resident Evil Outbreak because, my God, like, when's the last time Resident Evil Outbreak was officially name dropped? And I feel like it's a little bit of a hint, maybe, but I'm liking this new character, but I still can't shake the feeling that she's not the only character. I still can't shake the feeling that Leon is going to be in this game. Am I the only one? The next question they say is, we clearly see the ruins of Raccoon City and the Raccoon City Police Department in the reveal trailer. Why return to this iconic setting? They say in recent mainline titles like RE7 and Village, the series has explored the broader world of the Resident Evil universe by focusing on incidents involving the Winters family. With Resident Evil Requiem, however, we wanted to return to a story that continues the overreaching narrative rooted in Raccoon City and the secret machinations, am I saying that correctly? Of the Umbrella Corporation. As the series celebrates its 30th anniversary, we believe Raccoon City is the most fitting setting. They say, was Village's post-launch third perspective DLC a test for allowing both first and third-party perspectives? Why was it an important option to give to the players? They say the third-person mode added to Resident Evil Village was created simply in response to fan requests and was not intended as a prototype. Our analysis of recent gameplay trends in the series revealed that many players tend to engage with either first-person or third-person titles exclusively. With that in mind, we've included both perspectives in Resident Evil 9, driven by the desire for all Resident Evil fans to enjoy the latest installment. Gotta say, just a major shout-out to Capcom for understanding this. A major shout-out to them for understanding that there are some of us, like myself, where to me, Resident Evil is third-person. Yes, I can and will play it in first if that's the only option, but to me, Resident Evil is third-person. So the fact that they understand that there are many people who want to play in that way and offering that option, that's a literal game changer for me. And I feel like this is just a rare thing we see. We don't see many games offer both perspectives. And it seems like they put a lot of thought and effort into it. So I don't think it's just going to be some kind of half-assed thing either. They say here, what are the challenges in developing the game to be played so smoothly in both first and third person at any time? They say in modern 3D rendered games, some may think that changing the perspective is a simple task. However, in the survival horror genre, where delicate adjustments are made to evoke fear in the player, there are significant differences between first person and third person perspectives. These differences affect not only character models and animations, but also fine-tuned balance, UI, sound design, and more. It's essentially like developing two separate games in parallel. What would you say are the philosophy and themes of Resident Evil Requiem in comparison to previous games? They say the concept is addictive fear, the sense of experiencing something terrifying, but you can't help wanting to know what happens next. You're compelled to keep going. Fear is something players tend to grow accustomed to over time, but with this title, we've been more conscious than ever about maintaining a sense of tension throughout the experience. The reason behind this concept is that with recent entries in the series, such as RE Village and RE4, while still horror titles, leaned heavily into action. With the latest installment, we wanted to return to a game that puts a strong focus on horror. And the final thing they say here is that, are there any noticeable or notable graphical improvements you would pinpoint in the trailer that really highlight improvements through increased familiarity with the RE engine? They say the RE engine, which has powered many titles, continues to evolve. In the trailer, you will notice many details expressed through the visuals, such as sweat trickling down Grace's skin, the delicate texture of her hair, and the subtle trembling of her lips, showing her anxiety and tension. And that's the entire PlayStation blog. But I thought it was a good read. It's cool to see that they're putting out these kind of interviews with some of these games and the devs. But there's one other thing I want to mention here, and this is important if you're somebody who is curious if Leon is actually going to be in the game and if we can expect any like action-oriented gameplay. Not just like the horror, right? The survival horror. In a separate interview, Capcom confirmed that early versions of Resident Evil 9, they were trying to make an open world multiplayer Resident Evil game. Now, when they say multiplayer, I'm assuming they mean co-op, not like literally like PvP or something. And they were saying that this just wasn't working out and that this maybe isn't what fans actually wanted. the reason why I'm highlighting this confirms another thing that what's their name? Oh God, who's the name of the leaker that we've been talking about? Aesthetic Gamer? Dusk Golem, the same person, but Dusk Golem, there we go. Took a moment. But Dusk Golem has been the one basically leaking all of this stuff about Resident Evil 9, not like spoiling the story or anything, but he was saying that the marketing for this game is going to be focused on Grace first, and later on they're going to reveal Leon as the second playable character, and most of this game you're going to play as Leon. I thought it was interesting that not only did they name drop Leon for like no reason in their gameplay trailer, saying you're definitely not playing as Leon in this game. He's not good for this game. It's like, oh, okay, bro. Like, all right. But yeah, now we're getting confirmation from something directly that this leaker pointed out. This leaker said that early versions of Resident Evil 9 started out as like an open world experience. And they mentioned like them dabbling around with multiplayer and whatnot, and that was officially confirmed by Capcom. So I'm starting to think that pretty much everything that leaker Dusk Golem put out about Resident Evil 9 is going to turn out to be true, because almost everything that we're seeing was leaked out and is turning out to be true. So just something worth keeping in mind there. And yeah, I wanted to just cover a little bit more on Resident Evil 9. It's by far one of my most anticipated games, and the craziest part about it, like truly the craziest part about Resident Evil 9, is that we really don't have to wait that long for it. I mean, it's like what, 8 months away at this point. It's less than a year, dude. It's less than 9 months. So wasn't one of the rumors involving witches and witchcraft? The only thing I recall hearing with those rumors pushing polygons is that there's a location in this game. Like he was saying in the leaks that Raccoon City is not the only location. It's one of many locations that you visit. And he was saying there's another main location that you spend a lot of time in that he described as very witchy, like kind of, I guess, foresty, and you know, like an area where you could imagine seeing like a witch's house in the woods or something like that. So it's gonna be awesome. Saying, I mean, they liked about showing the game. Yeah, the way that they teased the trailer at Summer Game Fest was awesome. All right, well, guys, I think so. We just passed the 3-hour mark. I got to do some reps. All right, I owe you guys a little bit of reps. And then what I'm gonna do is see if I can get this microphone set up, and then we'll do a members lounge. And we'll test it out. We'll hang out for a little bit. Okay, so hang tight. I got to go get my dumbbells. I want you guys to let me know what music I should play, maybe some Metal Gear. But I'll be right back. Okay. I have retrieved the dumbbells. Why do I sound like that? Oh my God. Why did my voice just sound like that? What's happening? You want to play Sonic music, bro? Oh my God. Hell no. Hell no. I mean, to be honest, the only music that I've been able to play that doesn't get copyrighted, I'm not even kidding, is Metal Gear Solid music. Yeah. So we might just have to do that. We'll get some reps though. Let me see here. We'll do what Metal Gear theme should we do though? Should we do Metal Gear Solid Metal? Is that a thing? Here we go. No squats. That was pretty good. Perfectly, was that 2.5 minutes? Not bad. The heart rate up. It does, dude. It does. I wasn't feeling it, but that's why I was like, I got to get the metal theme. So I think we did 27 reps for the shoulder press. About 15 reps for the curls. Superset. No squats, bro. I mean, I guess I could do squats. Don't make me do squats. Maybe next time. Well, there you go. That's those reps are dedicated to both Silent Spartan and Shadowlink, but also everybody else who dropped any support. So I'm just a little winded right now. I would say I'll work on my cardio, but we both know I won't. We both know I won't. Kojima's the king. I should be able to remove this now. The direct donation goal, since I'll be setting up the mic. Well, guys, that does it. That wraps up today's stream. We did talk a little bit Xbox in the beginning, but talked games. We talked Death Stranding 2. Talked a little bit of Ghost of Yotei. Talked about some other games. Talked about some Resident Evil 9. So it's been a good time. Been a good ride. Good month. And let me just make sure everything's good here. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to try to set up this mic. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Hopefully it doesn't give me too many problems. But I definitely want to do a members lounge. Not only because you guys obviously earned it, but so we can experiment and see how it sounds, test it out a little bit. So yeah, one last thank you to everybody. We hit 134 members. Absolutely incredible. Genuinely shocked we hit that number today. Was not expecting that at all. So huge thank you to everybody who dropped member gifts. And also a big thank you to anybody who dropped any super chats or direct donations. You guys keep the channel alive and thriving. So thank you for that. All right. One last shout out as well to, hold on. Yeah, to Devil Shooter. Devil Shooter does the timestamps. You guys see him in the comments? Give him some love. Show him some thanks. I better see you thanking him. So now I'm feeling the test levels rising. Getting aggressive. No, but really, thank you so much, Devil Shooter, for what you do. And yeah, I think that's it. Only other thing I'm going to ask you to do is hit that like button on your way out. Make sure you have notifications turned on, because there will be a member lounge notification going out soon. All right. And Shadowlink, Silent Spartan again, shout out to both of you guys. Double 50 bomb, 100 members, wild. Thank you so much. All right, I'll see you guys in a little bit. Till then, take care, everyone.